Well, it's a beautiful night for baseball here at Dominico Field. Thomas West alongside Gus Cousins. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Hamilton Cardinals, a rematch of a game that happened a couple nights ago in Hamilton where the Toronto Maple Leafs came away with an 8-1 win. And this Maple Leafs team, man, they had a tough weekend. 3 games, 3 days, all on the road against tough teams. And Gus, they won all 3.
Yeah, it was a very tough weekend, and they knew that going into it. They knew that they were going to need some serious pitching help all throughout the weekend, and that's exactly what they got. Their starters gave them a lot of really good innings. They were very, very successful. We've been waiting so far this season to see how far the starting pitchers will be able to go in games, how long it'll take into the season to get them to the point where they're built up enough to do that. This weekend was a very good, I would say, middle point for them. We saw Adam Jaffine throw 4 innings against Hamilton last time out. That's not something that we've seen from him in the past so far this season. They've gotten a lot of good starting pitching, a lot of good work out of their bullpens, and they're going to need that today.
With more on the successful weekend, here's the Maple Leafs manager, Rob Butler. All right, joined now by Rob Butler from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Rob, this was a really successful weekend for the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you sum up how successful this weekend was for Toronto?
I think the easy word is clutch, right? Teamwork. Boys are really gelling together and pulling together, pulling for each other. And I think that makes a huge difference with the chemistry and the electricity on the team. Right? It does go from player to player, and it's contagious. You know, the way Jordan's hitting and Connect is hitting, the way our boys are pitching now, it's infectious, and it's really showing in how we're showing up and playing all 9 innings and playing to win, and we are winning. So we're on a streak. So hopefully the boys continue.
Speaking of clutch, Jordan's home run against the Well and Jackfish. I know anytime you can get to Davey Mendez, it's something special. But what was that moment like, just watching that, and just how good that he's been lately?
Well, he almost made me jump out of my own socks because that was a bomb. And yeah, you don't get a chance to hit off their main closer very often, right? So, and he was still throwing pretty hard. He was dealing, and we just. I don't know what it is. We sharpened up, and Jordan, especially right now, I mean, he hit 2 home runs in that game, and it's just wow, the guy's just on fire and just doing everything he can to help us win.
Obviously, you guys kind of want to keep it going here against Hamilton, but what's the key success today for this team to get a win?
I think just to continue doing what we're doing, right? Staying together, being a close-knit team, pulling for each other. The clutch hits, right? Opposite field hitting. You know, just doing the things that will help keep the train rolling, right? It's really important that we don't do things that kill rallies. So, you know, bad base running or bad mistakes. We're not doing that this year. So that's something that's kind of hurt us in the past. And our pitching has been throwing up zeros, which makes the hitting more fun because then they're getting in there quicker, and, you know, more guys are getting on base, guys are getting more bats, and there's more feel for, you know, seeing the pitching and, you know, just the feel of the game. So it's showing with wins.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, no problem.
So we heard Jordan Castaldo mentioned there by Rob Butler, and he has just been on a heater lately for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I remember talking to Jordan Castaldo, this was just a couple weeks ago, and he kind of expects himself to hit 400 and be one of the best hitters in this league every single season. And he was really disappointed with the way that last season went. I think he really wanted to come in this season with a little bit of a vengeance, and boy, has he ever. The stats unbelievable to start the year, and the home runs that Jordan Castaldo is hitting. He's not necessarily a home run hitter. I know he has 103 now in his Intercounty Baseball League career. He just has a good approach every time he comes up to the plate, and his approach is really good, and his timing is right on right now.
Absolutely it is. I mean, we saw it over the weekend, his 3 home runs there. 2 off of Ben Abram and Davey Mendez. Those aren't easy pitchers to face. Forget hitting home runs. Those aren't easy guys to get on base about. He's getting on base a lot. You saw there he's tied second in the IBL in walks. He's been slugging the heck out of the ball. As you said, the power has come, especially this weekend. We saw the tear with Marcus Connect before he got hurt. Now Connect's back, and Castaldo has taken over, and now he's on a bit of a tear in terms of the power side of things. He is a guy, if they can get a lot of power out of, we've seen it in the past in his days with Barrie, his MVP winning days. When he has that power going, he is going to be a big part of this lineup moving forward.
Yeah, so you mentioned the home run against the Well and Jackfish. That came off of Davey Mendez, so let me set the scene for you right now. The Toronto Maple Leafs, late in the game, needing some insurance runs. Davey Mendez, known as one of the best pitchers in the Intercounty Baseball League on the mound. Jordan Castaldo at the plate.
Hopefully history does not repeat itself. 2-0 to Castaldo. Castaldo sends a high fly ball left field. Deep left field. It's carrying, and it's gone! History does repeat itself. Same count, and Castaldo His second home run of the game gives the Maple Leafs the lead. It's a 2-run shot to left center. And Toronto is on top for the first time tonight, as Castaldo has driven in 3 now. And a 4-2 Maple Leafs lead here in the 8th.
A guy that's got power to all fields for this Toronto Maple Leafs squad. Was geared up for a 2-0 fastball against Abram, took him deep to right center. Same situation against Mendez.
Tell me when we're live.
Oh, welcome to Dominico Field at Christie Pitts. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Hamilton Cardinals set to play here on a beautiful night for baseball. Gus, Owen Boone on the mound for the Hamilton Cardinals, a guy who played the Toronto Maple Leafs tough his last time out.
Yeah, he's played everybody tough to start this year. He has been sparkling ever since joining the Hamilton Cardinals, coming back from taking a year off and previously before that dicing with the London Majors. He has been a guy that Hamilton has relied on very heavily so far this year, and rightfully so. He's been sparkling for them on the mound. He's been racking up the strikeouts, and he's a guy that will take the Hamilton Cardinals as far as they want to go. When Owen Boone is dealing on the mound, he is somebody that they're going to rely on heavily and that other teams have fared really poorly against.
Yeah, Taylor Lepard on the other side for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is going to be interesting. We haven't seen Taylor Lepard start yet for the Maple Leafs. I talked to Rob Butler before the game. This isn't a bullpen day for the Maple Leafs. He is going to be the starting pitcher, and they're looking for some length from him, maybe 4 or 5 innings. If they can get it from Taylor Lepard, that would be big. And if Taylor Lepard can fit into this starting rotation for the Maple Leafs, their pitching has been one of the keys to success over the successful weekend that they had. Taylor Lepard could be a really nice piece for the starting rotation.
Absolutely, he can be, and we've seen it during his time with the Long Island Ducks down in the States over the last 2 years. He's been a starter for multiple teams down in the States. He's gone deep. He's gone 5, 6, 7 innings on occasion. He has been built up, and he has the ability to do so. With the Leafs, it's more so they liked him more out of the pen because of the stuff and the pitches that he threw and his domination of the speed. But, yeah, he's a guy who's been built up, and if they can get 4 solid innings out of him tonight, that's going to be a major, major bonus for the Leafs going forward.
So I thought it'd be worth touching on just some of the milestones that are coming up for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, because we've already seen some. We said the Castaldo home run. We've seen some of these milestones go down for the Maple Leafs, but there's a lot of history on the line. So Marek Deska, 1 win away from 13th all-time in wins. Jordan Castaldo, 19 home runs away from Cleveland Brownlee. I don't think he's going to get that for a 3rd all-time, but with the tear he's on right now, who knows what could happen. Maybe next year. And then the big one, Castaldo, 1 RBI away from 2nd all-time. That has a very good chance of falling tonight. Justin Morrow, 1 home run away from being 7th all-time. That has a a good chance of falling tonight as well. And Justin Marr on the RBIs too. He continues to climb his way up the leaderboard. So it should be interesting to see as we take a look at the Hamilton Cardinals lineup today. It's Yoki Pena who's leading things off, and then Nico Kakatos, who's been on fire for the Hamilton Cardinals this season, batting second. Brandon Nickel is the shortstop, batting third, and then Josh Williams with that big power in the DH spot and cleaning up today. Batting fifth is Carlos Dominguez, and then Tyler Duncan, the MVP from a year ago and home run derby champion last season, is in center field. Luis Bernardo doing the catching, and then John Salazzo making his return finally to Christie Pitts. He's the third baseman. Jaden Brown at second base, and we just mentioned John Salazzo there. What a career he had with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Made a lot of friends here, was a fan favorite, and was a big reason for the Toronto Maple Leafs' success as well. Salazzo will go down as one of the best Maple Leafs to do it.
100%, and I would love to see him finish his career here with us whenever that time comes. He was such an integral part of the Leafs for so many years, a fan favorite, as you said. Everybody loved him. And the raw power that his swing has, we saw it on the home run derby last year when he participated on behalf of the Leafs as a multi-year All-Star. He's been gotten off to a bit of a slow start this year with the Hamilton Cardinals, but it's a new team, it's a new ballpark, and you know he wants to do some damage here tonight against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, John's been off to a bit of a slow start this season with the Hamilton Cardinals, and this feels like one of those days where he could kind of get a jolt of life into his bat this season, but we will see. First pitch from Taylor Lepard in there to Yoki Pena for strike one. Lepard is a hard-throwing right-handed pitcher for the Maple Leafs, but the velocity isn't even the best thing for Taylor Lepard. He's got some really good secondary pitches. The changeup and breaking ball have been really sharp, and something that Taylor Lepard has worked on a lot over the years as well. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a tapper foul towards the Hamilton Cardinal dugout by Pena.
And one of those pitches, that changeup that he has, is something that we've seen quite a bit. And when he has a lot of success, a lot of that comes from his really, really good ability to command that changeup. When it's diving low in on righties, low and away from lefties, that's something that we're going to want to keep an eye out for tonight. When he has success, his changeup is one of the best in the league.
Here's the 1-2. Swinging a foul tip by Pena straight to the backstop. He was well out in front of that off-speed pitch. Yoki Pena is hitting .270 this season with a home run and 7 RBIs in the 48 at-bats he's had this year. Lepard looking for an early strikeout against Pena. He was way in front of the last breaking ball. And now this one's lined into the outfield, and that one's down for a base hit. Lepard went back to the fastball. Pena ripped it into the outfield. And there's a runner on to start the game for Hamilton.
And this is something that we'll touch on more, I'm sure, but it's something that Lepard at times has had the ability to control, but at times it gets away from him a little bit. He doesn't walk anybody, but he will give up his share of hits. He strikes out a lot of guys, and he makes a lot of hitters look very, very silly with their swings. But he will give up his fair share of contact, and he throws so hard that coming off the bat, it'll do that to you.
This one's popped sky high into the outfield. Connor Lewis out there comes in and makes the catch. That was Nico Kakatos, really the hottest Hamilton Cardinal this season, came into the game hitting .316, but Lepard gets maybe the toughest hitter in the lineup right now to pop out.
Quick outs is going to be a big thing for him this game. We haven't seen him go too deep in many of these games. He's pitched out of the bullpen every one of his 6 outings so far, so quick outs. We're not entirely sure what his pitch count is. 80-85 is what we were thinking before the game. Quick ground outs, quick pop outs. It'll help him a lot.
Nickel takes strike one.
Getting ahead of hitters, too, needless to say, will help him out a lot as well. He's a guy that, as we've said, has started quite a bit in the States. The ability is there, the talent's there. He's stretched out.
This one slashed down the line. Fair ball. It hits the chalk. That's going to be a double for Nickel. The runner at third base is going to hold right there on a really good throw from Lewis, and the outfield made it close. But Hamilton threatening here in the top of the first.
Yeah, and you saw Lepard come off the mound there, hoping it was going to squeak his way foul. He was pointing towards the foul territory as the ball went right down the line. Great view from up here, landed right on that chalk.
Yeah, and there was no denying it, too, because the white chalk poofed up right when the ball hit it. So
it's hard to fool the eyes when the chalk hits the air.
Here's Josh Williams. First pitch to him in there for a strike. Well, Nickel has been known to come up with some big hits against Toronto. Last time the Maple Leafs were, well, 2 times ago, I guess, the Maple Leafs were in Hamilton. He won the game late with a 2-run home run as part of a 3-1 win for the Maple Leafs.
For the Riding Lepard, Hamilton has a lot of power-heavy lefty bats. Tyler Duncan, Jonathan Salazzo, Josh Williams here.
Williams takes low and in. Counting now 2-1 on the power-hitting lefty. It's a big spot if Taylor Lepard can get out of it. 2 in scoring position here for Hamilton. Here's the 2-1. Well inside, 3-1, and Williams has worked himself into a hitter's count. There's a base open at first, but might be a little bit too early in the game to start thinking like that if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs. So with that being said, Josh Williams may get a pitch to hit here. The 3-1, swing and a miss. Taylor Lepard knew that Williams was thinking that, so he hit him with the off speed on the 3-1 pitch. Big 3-2 pitch now from Lepard. Strike 3 called. He caught the inner half and froze Josh Williams, and that's a big out, number 2.
And that's exactly what you want to see out of Taylor Lepard early. Get that breaking ball working, hitting those corners. The best way to negate power is to use your off-speed pitches effectively. We've seen it throughout multiple pitchers this year. Berenbaum, Alvarado, Howard. Get guys swinging over the top of pitches. That's how you negate these tough situations early on in ball games.
Carlos Dominguez hits this one in the air to center. It's going to hang up there for Kaleo Shaw, who comes in and makes the catch, and Taylor Lepard does get out of trouble in the top of the first inning. To the bottom of the first we go. The bats for the Maple Leafs coming up. Owen Boone takes the mound for the Hamilton Cardinals, facing Ryan Dos Santos, who will lead things off. believe it or not, Ryan Dos Santos has actually had an opportunity to swing the bat a little bit. Had a couple hits against the Hamilton Cardinals and the last game on Sunday night, and the reason I say that is Ryan Dos Santos is the leader in walks in the Inter-County Baseball League.
By quite a bit, too. It's not particularly close.
But he hasn't walked in his last 2 games, if you can believe it. Pitchers finally realizing that they got to get into the strike zone against Ryan, because he is not taking it if it's not his, or he's not hitting it if it's not his pitch. So Boone does attack him with strike 1, and here's the 0-1 pitch. And he misses inside 1-1.
It's the best pitch in baseball is a first pitch strike. Boone's been excellent at that against everyone he's faced, really since joining the IBL years ago with London and now with the Cardinals.
Swing and a miss by Ryan Dos Santos. Boone out in front 1-2. Dos Santos takes high 2-2. That's the great eye of Ryan Dos Santos, taking that pitch just above the zone. 2-2, slash down the line, but foul into the Maple Leafs dugout.
In every start except his first of the year, Boone has gone at least 6 innings and has allowed no more than 1 run after his first start with the Cardinals, in which he only went 4 and allowed 2, which is still pretty decent work coming back from his time away from the IBL.
And a classic Ryan Dos Santos at that this season as he works at full, 3-2. Full count pitch, outside, ball 4. Dos Santos gets on base again.
Boone looking for Dos Santos to chase it, one of those pitches there, the high fastball, and then that one tailing outside and away from him. Didn't get the bat moving on either of those, and Dos Santos extends his league lead by a wide margin and walks. Although the man who's tied for second place in the IBL looms on deck.
Yeah, Justin Mara, who's been, well, actually Justin Mara and Jordan Castaldo, who have been walking a lot lately. They are tied, though. You're correct. 14 apiece. This one's hit in the air by John Javier, and catch is made by Dominguez. That's out number 1. So I was just going to talk about Justin Mara and how much he's getting on base when he said that, and I realized it's Jordan Castaldo. But, Gus, Jordan Castaldo hasn't really been known for the walks lately. It's been the big home runs, 3 of them in his last 2 games. Had another one against Hamilton, but the 2 home runs against the Welland Jackfish, those were the big ones for the Maple Leafs.
Absolutely they were. That was a massive game for this team, riding that win streak of playing really, really good ball heading into that game. Then home runs off of Ben Abram and Davey Mendez, 2 very tough customers against the Leafs, and he's going to look to keep that going. It's a favorable matchup for him. Boone throws hard. Castaldo and lefty with power. We talked about it with the Cardinals lineup.
Castaldo takes just outside to the demise of Owen Boone and catcher Bernardo, who both thought that was a strike. Jordan Castaldo, I don't think he's quite in that Triple Crown conversation yet, and the reason we talk about it is because he's done it before back in 2019, but he's right up there in all the big categories. Needs 3 more home runs to catch Robert Mullen, who's in first right now in the IBL. There goes Ryan Dos Santos. Pitch gets away from Bernardo behind the plate. That'll go down as a stolen base for Dos Santos. And Ryan Dos Santos now has the outright lead in stolen bases as well in the Inter-County Baseball League. That's his 9th.
It is remarkable how much power Robert Mullen has with the Welland Jackfish. He has such a clean and easy stroke. You watch him in BP, you watch him during games. There's a reason, not by accident, that he's leading the league in home runs right now. It's easy power from that right-hand side of the plate.
Here's the 1-1 to Castaldo. In there for a strike 1-2. And to compare him to Jordan Castaldo, Mullen has been great. He's got the power. He's hitting .350. Well, Jordan Castaldo's only 3 home runs behind him, and he's hitting .436 on the year.
Castaldo's been a hitting machine. Only one game this season that he hasn't registered a base hit. When he's available, he's one of the best middle of the bat lineups, or best middle of the lineup bats, I should say, that any team could want in the IBL this year.
The 1-2. Castaldo hits this one on the ground to short. Play made by Nickel, and he throws to first in time to get the out, but Ryan Dos Santos advances to third base.
And here's the guy who sits second behind Robert Mullen in home runs this season in the IBL, Marcus Connect, who up until a couple games ago when he got sidelined with a little bit of an injury, he was on a tear as well.
Yeah, right in front of his teammate Rando Moreno with 22 RBIs. That's first in the Intercounty Baseball League, and he's got another one standing out there at third base if he can get this one into the outfield or at least just reach first base.
It's a big hole right up the middle of the diamond. If he takes a fastball from Boone right back up the middle, there's a lot of space out near second base.
Slashes one foul. Yeah, and I'm not sure why Hamilton's giving him that much space up the middle. Marcus Connect's classic approach is to hit the ball right back at the pitcher. So Marcus Connect doesn't have to change his approach at all to hit it in the right spot. Here's the 0-1. Connect swings and misses. That was a good pitch from Owen Boone inside, and now it's 0-2.
Jammed him up a little bit on that one. Couldn't get the barrel around quite in time. Boone is a hard throwing righty. Big presence on the mound. We saw it when he was with the London Majors. It's a big reason why Hamilton was so excited when they got him this offseason.
The 0-2. Swinging a foul tip at home plate. Marcus Connect just got a piece of it. That was a pretty big swing, though, from Connect. His eyes kind of lit up at that pitch from Owen Boone. Rando Moreno is on deck. You can see him walking through the screen there as he just went to grab that baseball as a courtesy to pace of play.
Last time out against the Leafs, Owen Boone went 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, tied for his highest strikeout total in any game this season.
The 0-2. Hit on the ground to short, bobbled by Nickel. He whips to first and still gets it over there in time to make the play. Boy, a really composed play after the bobble by Nickel at short, and that gets Hamilton out of the inning. So both teams get their opponent in some trouble in the first until Lepard will try and get through another scoreless frame here in the second. Well, this is the guy known around Christie Pitts as the conductor, John Salazzo. We was looking to get an at-bat this inning for the Hamilton Cardinals, and boy, was he ever good with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 9 seasons. Really took the club to another level and was great in the playoffs as well. And boy, did he ever have a good season last year with the Maple Leafs. But I think John Salazzo will be most known for his patented swing at Christie Pitts and the ability to hit the ball over the wall. Although, and even in his last season when they made that wall taller, he had no problem getting that ball up over the wall.
None at all. He is a guy who will go down as one of the best Leafs of all time, I think is fair to say.
This guy will go down as one of the best Hamilton Cardinals of all time, I think, when it's said and done. Tyler Duncan at the plate, facing Taylor Lepard. Lepard got in a little bit of trouble in the first inning. There were runners on second and third with just one out, but he's able to get a strikeout and a flyout and get out of it. It's the 0-1 to Duncan. Swing and a miss.
You know, we've seen it at times this year with Hamilton, and at other times they've struggled, but they have a really good depth in their lineup. Tyler Duncan, an MVP from a few years ago, hitting in the 6th spot. Jonathan Salazzo hitting in the 8th spot.
Yeah.
Luis Bernardo, his first game coming back since being re-signed by the Cardinals.
It's a lot of power at the bottom of the lineup. Tyler Duncan now behind 1 and 2.
And there's a lot of new blood at the top. You know, Yoki Pena, Nico Caqueros, Carlos Dominguez, all guys who have not been around.
High chopper to short. Tough play for Moreno. He grabs it. He flips to first in time to get the out. Oh, that was a tough play for Rando Moreno at short, and he made it beautifully for out number 1.
He had to time that play perfectly. There was only one shot that Moreno had to try and get that runner at first. Duncan can run really well. He had to time that bounce perfectly. The spin, the throw, really good composure on a really tough infield play for Rando Moreno.
Yeah, that's what a professional baseball player who made it as high as AAA looks like out there at shortstop. The ideal play would have been to take that on the high hop, but that was just not in the cards for Rando Moreno. He was confident he could pick it. His hands are so quick out there at short, and that's a heck of a play for out number 1. 1 to Luis Bernardo.
We've been spoiled by some really good shortstop play over the last number of years. Jose Vinicio, now Rando Moreno. Spencer Ross has seen some action at short. Here's another one.
Makes this play as well. Flips it over to first in time for out number 1. Out number 2, I should say.
Here comes the man of the hour.
Yeah, John Salazzo, we thought he was going to make his return. This is a rainout game that was from, I guess it'd be almost a month ago now.
A month ago today.
Oh, perfect.
Exactly a month.
Yeah, it was pouring at Christie Pitts. Unfortunately, the Hamilton Cardinals made it all the way. We thought we were going to get the game in. The weather forecast didn't look like it was going to be too bad, and then all of a sudden it just started coming down. So here is Salazzo in his first at-bat back at Christie Pitts. The 0-1. Salazzo takes strike 2 on the outer half. Another good breaking ball from Taylor Lepard, who has had his off-speed pitches working to start this outing.
Working very quickly, very effectively.
The 0-2. Fly ball, left field, hit pretty well down the line. Connor Lewis coming over, and it lands in foul territory.
Very tough play for Lewis. Slicing away from him, he's in the sun. Running right towards that crooked fence down in the left field corner.
And the outfield is playing John Salazzo to pull as well, so Lewis had to go even further. Now he's going to tire himself out just getting back to his position out there in left field. He had a long way to run to get back to where he's supposed to be playing.
It is hot out there. You and I were both down in the field before the game in that sun. It's not as hot as yesterday, but it is blazing.
0-2 misses low. John Salazzo hitting .204 this season with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. If the Cardinals can get the bat of John Salazzo going like it was with the Maple Leafs, they'll be in really good shape this year. This one's crushed. High and deep and gone. Welcome back to Christie Pitts. John Salazzo. He gets his 2nd home run of the season and his first back here at his old stomping grounds. And the Hamilton Cardinals lead 1-0.
It's hard to say that you didn't see that coming. Almost an identical situation last year with Josh Garton and the Guelph Royals at this same ballpark. Wondering when is Garton going to get out of his slump. Same thing here with Salazzo, and he knew it right away. Marcus Connect didn't even move in right field. And once again, that wall, no problem for Jonathan Salazzo. Way over onto the Little League diamond. And it's something we've seen all too much of over the last number of years.
Yeah, except it's been a good thing most of the time. This time it puts the Maple Leafs down 1-0. That'll be a good feeling, though, for John Salazzo, who's off to a bit of a slow start this season. Just had the 1 home run to start the year, and yeah, that was a good point by you. You could see that coming. A little bit of a boost, maybe, playing at his old ballpark.
One thing I will say, though, even with that home run allowed by Lepard, he has thrown a ton of strikes early on. 29 pitches, 21 strikes so far. He's pounding that strike zone.
This one's cued off the end of the bat by Jaden Brown. Jordan Castaldo able to deal with the spin and record out number 3. But John Salazzo strikes for 1 over that big monster out there in right field, and it's 1-0 Hamilton Cardinals. Marcus Connect set to come to the plate for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Actually, I guess he just batted to finish off the inning, but a look at the season that he's had so far with Toronto. What a bounce back from last year. Took the year off, and now in his 2nd season consecutive playing, it's going really well for him, hitting .373, the 7 home runs, and the OPS just off the charts. And now Rando Moreno, who comes to the plate, who's also been a really good RBI guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Moreno hitting .299 on the season, but he's driven in 20 runs this year.
Yeah, he was hitting in the 3-hole for quite a bit to start the year. He was getting a lot of RBI opportunities, runners in scoring position. The top of the lineup, Ryan Dos Santos would always get on base, and then Moreno would come up 3rd. John Javier was hitting the lights out of baseball in that 2-hole, so there was a lot of opportunity for him to come up the runners on base. Now in the 5-hole, still a lot of guys, as we've seen over the last few games, getting on base right in front of him.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here and say this is going to be the key inning of the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you can score or get something going against Owen Boone here in the bottom of the 2nd, you might have a chance to get to him. That's a good start, as that ball slashed into left field by Rando Moreno for a single. So if you can do something like that and get something going against Boone here in the 2nd, maybe you avoid him kind of getting in that rhythm for the last of the game, because that's what happened the last time the Maple Leafs faced Owen Boone. But if you let him get through this inning scoreless again, I'd be worried that Boone would find that rhythm once again.
Yeah, and the other thing you look at to start this inning is you have 2 lefties right off the bat. 1 and 2 this inning, and Moreno, the switch hitter, I should say, and Justin Mara from the left side as well. And then you have a bunch of righties after that. Boone, very tough on everybody, but especially righties.
Mara hits this one straight up. Looks like this one's going to stay in play. Luis Bernardo is calling for it, and he makes the catch. And that'll be frustrating for Justin Mara. He's been coming up to the plate with a lot of really good at-bats for the Maple Leafs. He probably thinks that ball should have got out of play and you had another life. But unfortunately for him, it goes straight up, and that's now out number 1.
And a lot of the time it does eke out a play. There's a lot of backspin on those pop-ups. Straight up, behind home plate, to the left and to the right. That one I noticed went purely straight up. Bernardo had no real need to dance around too much. He squared up under that ball, and it came right down at him. The infield almost entirely in the shade right now, helping out these infielders on both teams.
Well, Dan Mara, the king of keeping the line moving, comes to the plate now. He's had a really good year, hitting .333 on the season for Toronto. And if he can do just that, get one into the outfield, get a couple on base. Kaleo Shaw has also been really good for the Maple Leafs, one of the juniors. A pitch inside to Mara as he leans out of the way.
Shaw's been very good with the bat. His limited opportunities so far. Flashed the glove out in center field with some terrific defensive plays when he's been captaining the outfield.
Dan Mara takes a strike, and it's 2-1. Mara's been a guy that's known to put the ball in play a lot, but that hasn't really been the case this year. He's been putting the ball in play, and it's been hard contact as well. The 2-1, Moreno fakes like he's going. This one smashed to center field, but it's going to hang up there for Tyler Duncan, who comes in and makes the catch, and Rando Moreno will retreat back to second base. Not that he was going. He had faked like he was stealing. But Dan Mara saw a pitch he liked and just missed it.
And we've already seen it once with Ryan Dos Santos. We haven't talked about it very much. This is Luis Bernardo's first game back since rejoining the club playing this year. He's been with the team for the entirety of the regular season, but up until recently they just were going with Julie Vittini behind the plate. They released him the other day, and this is his first game action in 2025.
Big swing by Shaw, and he swings right through it. Yeah, Hamilton hasn't got what they expected from the bats. They've got some pretty good pitching this year. That hasn't really been much of a problem, but only got one guy in the lineup hitting over 300, and a lot of talent, not a lot of batting average so far this year for Hamilton. Shaw fouls off another one, and now Boone's out in front 0-2, and this is where Owen Boone can be real dangerous with his entire arsenal at his disposal ahead in the count.
It's a bit unfair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Owen Boone with all his might out there facing Kaleo Shaw, who's a rookie in this league, a junior call-up. He's faced some really tough pitching since joining the team.
The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Owen Boone does surrender the single to Moreno to start the inning, but then looks really polished as he gets through 3 straight batters by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we will head to the 3rd inning here. Hamilton coming up.
To be the best, you've got to bring performance from every second. The game is getting faster every season. So Rawlings made a time machine to help you keep up. Introducing the all-new Velo ACP. It's light, it's balanced, so you can pick your pitch and drive the ball with maximum exit velocity. The game's gotten faster. Your bat has too.
Well, last game for the Maple Leafs, they saw a gem of a game by their pitching staff. Adam Jaffine came out. It was the end of a 3-3, and they really needed some length and some good pitching from Jaffine. He was great. No runs over the 4 innings he pitched, and then Drew Howard came in. He was really good as well. And then Alex Ewer closed things out for the Maple Leafs, and they got that 8-1 win against Hamilton.
It was very impressive. It was a smoking hot day down in the Hammer. A lot of the guys were tired. Their arms were drained a little bit from the 3 games in 3 days, as any team would be. And to come out, have the offense cook like they did, put up 8 runs. Easy days on the mound for Adam Jaffine and Drew Howard.
Pena hits this one on the ground to first. Good play by Jordan Castaldo. And that's out number 1.
And with the offense being how it's been over the last number of weeks, the pitching staff hasn't had to be as good as they've shown over the last 3 games. They were getting away with high-scoring victories because the offense, Marcus Connect, Jordan Castaldo, Rando Moreno, John Javier, when these guys were rolling, they were able to give up a few runs a game and still come back and win. Recently, they haven't had to rely on that. They've pushed a bit more of their pitching, and it's worked.
Here's the 0-1 to Kakados. That one's low in the dirt. Brother of Mateo Kakados, who some will remember as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now here in Toronto.
U of T grad for the Varsity Blues, one of a handful of OUA players in the IBL this season.
Yeah, really good pitcher in the OUA as well.
I should say more than a handful. There are some really, really good ball players in this league who have graduated from the likes of the OUA.
Yeah, I felt like there was kind of a wave after a guy by the name of Justin Gideon, who played for the Hamilton Cardinals, came to the Intercounty Baseball League and was maybe just the best player.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
In the IBL.
The numbers that he put up, just phenomenal.
The 2-2. Hit towards center. That one falls for a base hit. Nico Kakado stays hot, and he's got a 1-out single.
And it's what we've seen a lot of early on from Taylor Lepard. A lot of strikes, a lot of contact. Some of these going for hits, obviously, but a lot of weak contact, too. We've seen a couple pop-ups, a couple weak ground balls to Rando Moreno and Jordan Castaldo.
Well, the shortstop, Brandon Nickel, only saw 1 pitch from Lepard. He slashed it down the line. It actually hit the line for a double in his last at-bat. Brandon Nickel has played well against the Leafs this year. The 0-1 fouled off. He had a pretty good rip at that one as well, but he's behind 0-2.
It's a similar situation to when Hamilton started Corbin Peters on Sunday against the Maple Leafs, who hadn't started a game all year, but was excellent out of the bullpen for them. Battled through in the heat, and now it's Taylor Lepard returning the favor, coming out of the bullpen to start a game, something he hasn't done this season.
The 0-2, this one's hit pretty well. High, deep, left field, does it have enough? Yes, it does. It clears the wall in left center field, and Nickel has another home run against the Maple Leafs, and it's 3-0.
He hung that off-speed pitch, and a beautiful swing from Brandon Nickel to sit back on it and lace it over that left center field fence into the skate park. Like we said prior to the game, Lepard will give up his fair share of base hits. The goal being, well, you just got to keep those in the yard. So far, that hasn't been the case. 2 deep home runs from a potent Hamilton lineup that is hopefully trying to find itself consistently here tonight against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and Taylor Lepard's sitting here thinking, what do I got to do to get away with one? It feels like he hasn't made very many mistake pitches. It's just every one he's made has been hit hard.
Comes with the territory of throwing oh so many strikes.
Well, I think there was a ball that found its way out into center field from the Leafs bullpen. So Kaleo Shaw had to run over and get it. That's the reason for the slight delay.
In terms of the power itself, there's a lot of similarities, I think, between Josh Williams' swing and Jonathan Salazzo's swing from the left-hand side of the plate. We've seen Williams hit some deep home runs over his time in the IBL. It's a powerful man for the Hamilton Cardinals to have. Middle of the lineup.
Behind 3-0 and checks the swing and goes around on the 3-0 pitch. You think he had the green light there?
I bet he did. Yeah, at this point in the ball game, at this point in the lineup, you're up 3-0. You've already hit 2 home runs. The power that Williams has, I don't see why not.
He's got 3 homers this year and 7 RBIs. And takes a big swing at that one and fouls it off. It's 3-2. Williams is hitting .268 this year. Carlos Dominguez is on deck. Here's the 3-2 from Lepard. Off-speed pitch, misses outside. That's a walk. So Williams goes to first.
It was Williams who he came back at in the first inning and struck out to record that second out of the ball game with runners on second and third, looking to do the same thing there, just missed. Now Carlos Dominguez, somebody else who the Hamilton Cardinals really want to get going. One of their new import players this season who they're very excited about.
Pitch number 47 from Lepard, and it's smashed down the line, foul. Lots of distance, well out of play down the line. Lepard has only gone a little over 3 innings, his career longest in the Intercounty Baseball League. Maple Leafs are hoping he can get through this top of the third. This one's hit shallow to left. Coming in and making a great catch is Connor Lewis with the slide. Boy, he was battling everything there. The sun, that ball had topspin on it, and he still came in and made the play.
It's a heck of a play from Connor Lewis. Like you said, battling the sun, the shade, the lights. It was a sinking line drive on him. A smart play by him, too. He ended up catching that ball, but a few steps before he went into that slide, he threw up his glove as if to fake out the runner to say, hey, I'm catching this, when in reality it's taking a bounce in front of you. You see a lot of outfielders in every level do that. Not that he needed to, with a gorgeous sliding play out there in the sun.
Duncan now slashes this one through the left side. That one's in for a base hit. Just wanted to point out as well, I think it was Justin Mara on that play. I just by the voice that I heard yelling, in, and as soon as he said that, Connor Lewis started breaking in because I don't think he saw that ball at first. It was right in the sun.
We've talked about the speed that a lot of these Maple Leafs players have this year. Connor Lewis's closing speed, when he's gunning it towards a fly ball, we've seen it over the past number of years. He is very quick in the outfield when he's closing on a fly ball or a line drive. We saw it right there. It's a really good skill to have. And I say closing speed, very different from sprint speed. If the ball's in the gap and you're just trying to gun it as hard as you can to get that ball, it's a different level as opposed to when you're trying to close on a ball and deal with catching it all at once. It sounds easy. It is not the same thing as just straight out sprinting.
Yeah, Connor Lewis also has a lot of experience tracking fly balls. Really was the longtime center fielder for the Maple Leafs.
Yes.
Up until a couple seasons ago.
Even last year, he spent some time in center field with the team.
0-2 now on Luis Bernardo, and now it's outside 3-0. So this is the at-bat here where Taylor Lepard really needs to bear down and get out of it. Pitch count getting up there. He's up over 50 pitches, which is longer than we normally see from Lepard. And this is the make-or-break moment right here in his outing. The 3-0 pitch in there for a strike. Bernardo clearly taking all the way.
Took his right foot out of the batter's box as Lepard was winding up there.
3-1 pitch. Just missed outside, and the bases are loaded for Hamilton. Here comes Rob Butler to the mound.
And this is for a couple reasons, obviously. One, Lepard He's already given up 2 home runs. The Leafs don't want to let this game get out of hand early. Secondly, it's to let Matt Brown warm up in the bullpen. We knew this going into today. Lepard was never expected to go deep into this one. 3-4 innings, then turn it over to the bullpen and Matt Brown for his second outing. And then thirdly, the last time you faced Jonathan Salazzo, you gave up a missile over the right field fence. It's a critical point in the game. It's just the top of the third, but with the bases loaded. We've seen how many times Salazzo have multi-home run games for the Maple Leafs?
I don't know, a lot.
A lot. Yeah. It was rhetorical, but a lot. And to your point, Luis Bernardo was the guy to get there. Righty on righty, his first game back. It's a lot more favorable for Lepard than it is to face the likes of Jonathan Salazzo.
Yeah, there was a lot of people on the mound that know John Salazzo very well that came out for that mound visit. Everyone on the infield, including Mara and Rob Butler, have played with John Salazzo for a long time, and now he's hit. John Salazzo is hit on the foot. That's going to push in a run for Hamilton, and it's 4-0.
And I would say that's the last thing that you want to see, but in reality, allowing 1 run to score on a Jonathan Salazzo at bat's a lot better than 2 or 3 or 4 that we've seen numerous times over the last couple of years here at Christie Pitts.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see how that at-bat was going to go, though, because Rob Butler came out to the mound. Him and Justin Morrow were obviously giving Terrell Lepard a game plan of how to attack John Salazzo. And it would have been interesting to see how that at-bat played out. Unfortunately for the Maple Leafs, he's standing on first now. A run is in, and here's the number 9 hitter, Brown.
A walk, a hit by pitch, and then a very high ball 1, and a very high ball 2. Lepard losing it a little bit out there on the mound. And to your earlier point, we haven't seen him go this deep many times, certainly not this season. It's not something he's been asked to do.
2-0 fouled off. That was a good pitch. Now it's 2-1. Well, if you're Taylor Lepard here, just take a deep breath. If you get through this top of the third inning, this is a potent lineup, the Maple Leafs, maybe the best in the Intercounty Baseball League this year. You've still given your team a chance if you can get through this top of the third. Lots of game to go. But you got to get Brown right here. The 2-1 pitch. Hit into the outfield. Lewis going back near the wall. Makes the catch. A couple feet in front of that wall out there in left field. Brown gave it a ride. The Maple Leafs get out of it with limited damage in the inning, although the Hamilton Cardinals do tack on 3 more. They lead 4-0 over Toronto here at Christie Pitts. Well, Connor Lewis has been busy out there in left field, especially in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Great sliding catch and a pretty good catch as well on a ball that was smashed by Jaden Brown. And now he comes to the plate, getting his first at-bat of the ball game, facing Owen Boone, who's back out there on the mound. Talked last inning about the 2nd inning kind of being key for the Maple Leafs to score against Owen Boone. Now the question is, has he found that rhythm against Toronto? Check swing by Lewis. The home plate umpire says he went around, strike 1. Lewis hits one into the outfield and foul. Just foul down the right field line.
The last time that Owen Boone allowed more than 4 earned runs in a ball game was last July at Welland, where he still tossed 7 innings against a very potent Jackfish lineup.
Lewis battling, still down 0-2, but he fouls off a tough pitch.
So you're telling me there's a chance for him to give up a few runs here and there? If there's anybody to do it, though, it's this Leafs offense, the way they've been hitting as of late.
0-2 to Lewis. Flies this one towards right. It's shallow and dropping, but Dominguez with that good closing speed comes in and makes the catch. Owen Boone, an ERA of 1.80 this season in 30 innings. In those 30 innings, he struck out 45 batters coming into tonight.
And the other side of the story is, well, when you're facing a guy as good as Owen Boone, well, if it's tough to hit on him, you want to get him out of the game. You want to work his pitch count. You want to make him tired. It's a hot day. Through 7 outs so far, he's thrown 30 pitches. He's been very efficient up until this point with the Maple Leafs.
Ryan Dos Santos fouls this one off. Ryan Dos Santos played his college baseball at Southwestern Oklahoma. That was really good in the NCAA Division II. Talked to him before the season a little bit about that. He said some of the most fun baseball he's ever played in his life. And he's had a pretty good ride with this Toronto Maple Leafs team here as well.
Had a heck of a year last year, made the All-Star team with the Maple Leafs. He's been a terrific outfielder for a number of years.
All-Star games coming up at the end of July. That will be in Hamilton. That was really cool to have the All-Star game in Welland last year, and I'm sure it'll be just as exciting having it in Hamilton for the 2nd year in a row. It's something we haven't seen in the Intercounty Baseball League in a while. So kudos to the Hamilton Cardinals for hosting that, and can't wait to be there in Hamilton and experience that again this year. This one's hit on the ground by Dos Santos. Flipped to first in time.
And if you haven't already, we'll get out and vote. Voting is now open. There are 15 different Maple Leafs players eligible on the ballot that you can vote for. Voting's open until July 7th at 11:59 p.m., but who wants to wait until the last minute? So get out there and vote. Tell your friends to vote. Get your family to vote. There's a lot of very worthy Maple Leafs players this season that deserve to be in Hamilton. One of them at the plate right now, and John Javier, who got off to such a hot start. He's a member of the Maple Leafs this season.
Javier chops one on the ground to Nickel at shortstop. He throws to first in time. Out number 3, Gus. Owen Boone starting to get in a rhythm a little bit against this Toronto Maple Leafs team.
It's a scary thing.
Yeah, they failed to score and go down 1-2-3 in the 3rd. The bats for the Hamilton Cardinals coming up here in the 4th.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com, because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Toronto Maple Leafs got a big win against the Welland Jackfish last time out, and well, we had a little bit of time. I just wanted to kind of break this down because it's crazy the stats that Davey Mendez has put up against the Intercounty Baseball League. But Toronto, well, they've scored a couple runs against him. Davey Mendez in his entire Intercounty Baseball League career, as you can see there, spans quite a few innings, has been unbelievable and only given up 12 earned runs. 6 of them against the Toronto Maple Leafs. 2 of the home runs he's given up, which I'm assuming is not very many, have been against Jordan Castaldo. He went back-to-back. It was about 3 years ago in a playoff game that the Maple Leafs had here at Christie Pitts. Marcus Connect was one of the other ones. And I think it's just incredible how well, even though the stats are pretty good for Davey Mendez, the Toronto Maple Leafs have hit against Mendez. And I kind of was thinking about this, like, what does it come down to? It's the experience of the Toronto Maple Leafs. You look at the Justin Maras, the Marcus Connects, the Jordan Castaldos, they don't mind velocity, and they can hit that rising fastball from Davey Mendez. When you look at some of the younger players in the league, they don't see that kind of professional approach from a pitcher very often. But some of the veteran guys that have seen it in Double-A, they've played professional baseball, they don't mind Davey Mendez.
No, you're absolutely right. It comes with the territory of having quite a bit of professional ball experience, the experience that Davey Mendez has had playing the minor leagues. You can throw a hard fastball all you want, but if you don't have secondary stuff that helps you differ it up, change the view of the hitter, and if you can't command it, well, you're not going to get very far. Mendez has turned himself into one of the best pitchers in the IBL by doing that. He's been able to throw his fastball for strikes efficiently, very hard.
Ball popped up towards Moreno. It was towards Dos Santos, and then Rando Moreno calls him off and makes the catch. Rando Moreno was kind of smiling there with Ryan Dos Santos at third base. Just to segue off that, I mean, Hamilton Cardinals have a pretty legendary closer now out in the bullpen in Fernando Rodney, and I've talked to a couple Intercounty Baseball League players about what it's like facing Fernando Rodney, and it's not like Davey Mendez. He doesn't have that rising fastball. In fact, the velocity isn't crazy from Fernando Rodney, but the changeup, from what I'm told, is like anything they've ever seen. And that makes sense. He's one of the best pitchers to ever do it in Major League Baseball. But that's the key pitch for Fernando Rodney, and you can just tell, not only does he outpitch you on the mound just because of how talented he is, I know he's 48 years old, but his stuff is still just as good as it was in Major League Baseball. Maybe not the fastball, but that changeup, is I hear, is quite devastating. This one's on the ground. Moreno fields it. Long throw. Oh, this is ambitious. Not quite in time. Oh, Rando Moreno got all he could on that throw, but he was throwing it from the outfield and deep and left. He couldn't quite get him enough on it.
And to your point on Fernando Rodney, if you look at his numbers, superficially, you may think, wow, those aren't as excellent as I thought he would be pitching in the IBL. Well, you look at his last 5-6 outings, outside of his first 2 appearances where he gave up some runs, he's been dominant ever since. He's racking up the strikeouts. He's not letting anyone get on base. He's pitching scoreless innings. He has 3 saves this year for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Yeah. Without actually watching him at the beginning of the season and just looking at the box scores, I was like, oh, man, this thing might not work out. But then I was in Hamilton the other day and watching him up close pitch. Yeah, he's fine. He's going to be fine. This one's hit well to center field. Over goes Kaleo Shaw, and he catches it on a line. Nickel got a good piece of that one, but that's out number 2.
And the man who made history by hitting the first when Rodney gave up his first career IBL home run, I should say, Tim Holk, who hit it with the Brantford Red Sox, has since joined the Ottawa Titans. You get rewarded when you take a former MLB All-Star deep.
Yeah, that clip may have been played a couple places.
Just a few. Just a few.
Around the internet.
Speaking of which, I know it's not the point, but the Ottawa Titans have signed a great deal of formerly excellent IBL talent. They're having a very tough season, but the talent is there.
Broken bat for Josh Williams, so Santos goes the short way to second base. And Taylor Lepard gets through a scoreless fourth inning for the Maple Leafs. It's 4-0 Hamilton Cardinals here in Toronto.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com. Because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Hamilton Cardinals have a chance to get back to 500 as they sit right in the middle of the Intercounty Baseball League standings. And the win streak for the Maple Leafs, the 3 wins on the weekend, gets them way over 500. And now they're closing in on the London Majors and Welland Jackfish. But they've got some work to do against Hamilton. And Gus, right now, Owen Boone is dealing on the mound for them.
He is, and I've said it before when he was with the Majors years ago. He's one of the best pitchers I have ever seen pitch in the IBL. And I know that comes with a little bit of recency bias that, you know, me and you, we haven't been around forever. We haven't seen the likes of some of the statistically best pitchers historically in the IBL. But as of recent history, Owen Boone has gone out and dominated over and over and over again. And he's doing it once again tonight to the Maple Leafs. And if they want to scratch and claw their way back into this one, it's very possible. Again, the talent's there. We've seen it with this lineup before. But you're going to have to put, like you mentioned, an inning together here sooner or later. You don't want to get to the back end of this Hamilton Cardinals bullpen. It is not a fun place to be, especially after facing Owen Boone.
Jordan Castaldo leading things off, and he takes ball 1 inside. Owen Boone has gone 6 innings in each of his last 3 starts. One of those was against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was a 3-1 win in Hamilton. Gave up just 1 earned run, allowed 3 hits against the Maple Leafs. Didn't get much at all going at the plate that day. And then the funny thing is that he, in his very next start on June 19th, he came out against Kitchener and did the exact same thing, and I mean pretty much the exact same thing. The only thing that was different, he walked 1 less and he struck out 1 less in that outing. Other than that, the line was identical for Owen Boone. Struck out 10 in that outing against the Maple Leafs in mid-June.
If I recall off the top of my head, that was the day that Wilhennis Alvarado struck out 11, I believe.
Yeah, he was great.
He didn't get much run support. They Jacob deGrommed him a little bit, but he was excellent. He needed that start, and he's pitched well since that start.
Yeah.
He's one of the main reasons that the Leafs are on this 4-game winning streak right now is Wilhennis Alvarado has found his command once again and is striking out a lot of guys.
Yeah, he was even better in his next start. That was against Brantford, went 5 innings, and I think they actually pulled him a little earlier than they might have just because the Maple Leafs blew out Brantford in that game. I think it was 15-2 was the final score. But yeah, he struck out 5 over 5 innings, allowed just the 1 earned run.
And a lot of it comes down to building the confidence of these guys, right? Like, to your point, you're up big. It's the second start in a row that one of your better pitchers has now found it. You want to keep that mojo going, even though you're up big. If he runs in a bit of trouble in that 6th inning and you send him back out there, well, it just minimizes all the confidence that he's built up over the last 2 starts. So pull him while he's been dicing. Have him keep going, keep that confidence up. It's nuts how important a player's mindset is in this game, especially a pitcher's mindset. Baseball is slower than other sports. You have way too much time to stop and think about what you've done and what you're going to do next. In hockey and football and basketball, you don't have all that time in between every single pitch, every single play. In baseball, you really got to keep your head in it, and to Alvarado's credit, he's done that.
Jordan Castaldo has worked the count to 3-2. Castaldo's home run against the Hamilton Cardinals and the Leafs last game tied him third all-time in IBL RBIs as he takes strike 3 called on the outside corner. And Boone starts the inning with a strikeout, and Jordan Castaldo didn't like it. Just to finish that point, he's got 498 RBIs, tied for third all-time, tied with Damon Toppoli. So one more will get him past the former longtime Maple Leaf.
I think Jordan Castaldo was probably, in not so many words, thinking to himself, man, this Boone guy is so good. He's dealing out there right now. He doesn't need any help on that outside corner. His stuff's good enough as it is.
Well, Marcus Connect comes to the plate. Connect hitting cleanup for the Maple Leafs today. Jordan Castaldo has moved up to the 3 spot. Rando Moreno is now behind Marcus Connect. I kind of like that move with Rando Moreno now giving Marcus Connect, who's been a dangerous hitter for the Leafs this season, a bit of lineup protection. That pitch outside from Owen Boone, and maybe a little crack in the armor here for Marcus Connect against Owen Boone. He's head in the count 0-2, or 2-0.
Yeah, if there's a time to sit fastball, I'd sit fastball right here, but with Boone and his 4 to 5 pitches, you never know.
Connect swings and misses, and now the count
fastball.
2-1.
Just missed it.
Well,
Matt Brown continues to throw down the left field line. We expect to see him in for the 5th inning. 4 innings of work for Taylor Lepard. It's the longest outing of the season.
The 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Good pitch there by Owen Boone, who's only allowed 1 hit against the Maple Leafs today, and it's Rando Moreno who's on deck who has it. So Marcus Connect can get on base. Maybe Rando has a solution to Boone. Here's the 2-2. Hit to left and down for a base hit. Marcus Connect gets the 2nd hit of the day for the Maple Leafs, and he's aboard with 1 away.
Second hit of the day for Toronto. 2nd hit of the day to the exact same spot down that left field line. Rando Moreno, to your point last time, came up and slashed the ball to left field. Connect this time got his hands around on a pitch from Boone and laced it down the left field line. He was thinking too there for a sec. When he made that turnaround first, he was hustling, but wisely made the decision to head back to first. Moreno has some sneaky pop from the left side of the plate this year. All of his home runs have come with him hitting as a lefty.
Chops 1 to first. This could be 2. Step on first for the first out, and then Marcus Connect slides into second. Oh, no. It's going to be a foul ball. That's a foul ball called by the umpire at first base. That's really good for the Maple Leafs as opposed to the alternative.
Yeah, Nico Caqueros down there was trying to swipe that ball back into fair territory before it bounced over that line. Lucky break for Rando Moreno and the Maple Leafs. A hard slide into second base by Marcus Connect.
The 0-1 to Moreno. Upstairs, 1-1. Rando Moreno has got that batting average up to 308 again, up over 300 for the Maple Leafs. Was 2 for 5 in the Leafs' last game against Hamilton. The 1-1. Connect goes, throw down to second, and Marcus Connect has swiped the bag.
So I don't know if you picked up on what Luis Bernardo just did there. But Bernardo, a veteran catcher, calling that pitch to Aaron Boone saying, hey, I want this outside. Firstly, because I think Connect might be stealing, and he was right. But secondly, using his glove hand to shift Songlazo over right before the pitch. He was waving Songlazo to Bernardo's right, Songlazo's left. He bounced over about 4 or 5 steps to his left thinking, hey, we saw Moreno put this ball in the left field last time. We're going to paint on the outside corner. If Moreno takes it the other way, well, Songlazo's 4 to 5 feet to his left and able to get that ball. It's a very smart play. About 2 seconds or so before Boone entered his windup there, and I mean, it didn't matter in the end. Moreno took the pitch and Connect swiped second, but it's a very heads-up play to say, hey, batter's not going to see this. I know it's coming outside with the command that Boone has. Songlazo, get over there. Very smart play from a very smart catcher.
2-2 in the dirt. That's the first stolen base for Marcus Connect since the playoffs in 2021.
He's had that in the bag for a while, eh?
Yeah.
He's a quick guy. When he gets going, we've talked about it a lot with this Leafs outfield. I will say it again. There's a lot of speed out there.
Too bad he's only got 90 feet to get going.
Yeah. Fortunately, he could run a country mile with his speed.
Big 3-2 pitch to Moreno. And he flares it towards the Leafs dugout, and that's going to get out of play.
There's a couple guys on this team who I would love to see in a track race. I think Connect is right up there as one of them.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, we've seen the speed. Lewis out there, Cleo Shaw.
Yeah, Shaw.
Ryan Dos Santos.
Shaw,
leading the league in
Dos
stolen
Santos.
bases.
Shaw, Dos Santos, and Connect. Who wins?
Oh, I think Dos Santos.
Line drive to center field. This one is dropping. It will get down. Marcus Connect had to hold up in the outfield. Rando Moreno sprints into second base. There was a little bit of bobble in center field by Tyler Duncan, and then him and Yolki Pena kind of couldn't decide who was going to pick the ball up. So Moreno somehow gets to second base, and Marcus Connect, who had to wait to see if that ball was going to get down, has to stay at third.
Heads up base running from Rando Moreno right there. He saw that ball was about to be bobbled. Misplayed, I should say, in center field, as you mentioned, with who was picking up the ball, who wants to touch this hot potato, and Moreno rounds first and guns it into second. And now's the opportunity. Just like Lepard faced in the first inning, second and third, one out, a lefty up.
And it's Justin Mara who takes strike one. Justin Mara just saw one pitch in his first at-bat, popped out. I think he was a bit frustrated. But Justin Mara has been putting up really good at-bats for the Maple Leafs. Walked 3 times last game, 5 walks in his last 2 games. Here's the 0-1, upstairs 1-1, which with the experience of Justin Mara, to me, that just says he's starting to see the ball a little bit better. When Justin Mara is not chasing pitches and waiting for his pitch to hit, he can hit that pitch. See if he gets one here. The 1-1. Mara takes outside, not his, and it's 2-1.
Heck of an attempt by Luis Bernardo to bring that ball right into the strike zone there.
Yeah.
That pitch was a good 8 inches outside, and Bernardo tried to bring it back.
Huge spot for the Maple Leafs. Mara ahead in the count. The 2-1. Justin Mara flares it foul to the left. And now if you're Justin Mara, you gotta get this ball in play, whether it's a fly ball or a ground ball to the right side. Mara knows that. But that's not the easiest thing to do against Owen Boone, because he's got a couple tools in the toolbox to strike you out. Well, that's exactly what Owen Boone needs right now.
And Hamilton's giving you the run. If it's a ground ball anywhere in the infield, they're giving you that run just to get an out. They're up by 4. It doesn't matter. But he'll take it as...
The 2-2 on the ground. This will score a run for the Maple Leafs. Throw to first in time. That's an RBI for Justin Mara. And the lead now 4-1 for Hamilton.
And I would take that all day long. Of course you want to base into the outfield. Of course you want a 3-run homer there. Of course you want to do some damage. But it's early enough in this game With Dan Mara coming up, your brother who has been terrific as of late, shooting the ball all around the field. You'll take that every day, all day, if you're the Leafs.
Dan Mara takes strike one, so that RBI for Justin, his 275th in his Intercounty Baseball League career, 3 away from being 17th all time. Now stands alone in 18th as well. Dan Mara flares this one towards the outfield. It's dropping.
Down.
That one gets down. That'll score another run for the Maple Leafs. Dan Mara drives them in, and it's 4-2.
Great piece of hitting there from Dan Mara. His ability to shoot the ball to all parts of the ballpark, as we saw right there, it's a great piece of hitting. It's a fastball in. Push that slicing away towards right field. Heck of an at-bat right there with 2 out.
Yeah, we'll see if Kaleo Shaw can keep it going here for the Maple Leafs with 2 outs. Most runs that Owen Boone has given up in his last 3 starts, if you can believe that. And I don't mean earned runs, I just mean runs in general. 1-0 now on Kaleo Shaw. Takes a strike right at the knees on the inner half, and the count's now 1-1. If you can get a couple innings where you make Owen Boone throw a lot of pitches, that wears down on the stamina a lot more than a lot of pitches over a long time. This is good sign for the Maple Leafs. This one's fouled off by Shaw.
We say this as if we haven't seen him throw 140 pitches at a playoff game before, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to go that long tonight. It's fine.
Coming off a bit of an injury
Yeah.
last season.
That was a spectacle to see him throw that many pitches.
Yeah.
Back-to-back outings with the London Majors. That was nuts.
The 1-2 upstairs.
And to his credit, he pushed himself. The Majors pushed him. He was terrific in those playoffs. But you don't see that anymore, anywhere, ever. That amount of pitches.
The 2-2. Shaw takes low. Owen Boone didn't play in the Intercounty Baseball League last year, which is what allowed him to be a free agent and be signed by the Hamilton Cardinals. And what a pickup that was for them. It's the way it works in the Intercounty Baseball League. You can't just sign with whatever team you want, but if you take a year off, then you're now eligible to go to wherever team you choose. The 3-2, Shaw swings and misses, strike 3. Owen Boone gets out of it with a strikeout, but the Maple Leafs scratch across a couple runs and cut the lead in half. It's 4-2 Hamilton here in Toronto. New pitcher in the game for the Maple Leafs. It's Matt Brown, who the Leafs will get their first chance to get a look at here at home. And the first pitch in there for a strike to Dominguez, the right fielder. Matt Brown played college baseball for the last 2 seasons at South Florida in the NCAA. That's the South Florida Bulls. He also played some summer league baseball as well. Was really good in his first outing against Brantford as this one's hit on the ground to third. Dos Santos, long throw to first, and it pops out of the glove of Jordan Castaldo, the first baseman, who's going to have to make a heck of a play to pick that ball. Jordan Castaldo will go over and just put a tag on the runner at first base just to make sure he didn't make a move towards second. If so, he would have been out, but that's not the case. In fact, actually, I think Dominguez might be hurt over there at first base.
He was on his horse going down that first baseline. Dos Santos scooped it, looked up, and Dominguez was already 3/4 of the way down towards first base.
Looks like he's okay. Tyler Duncan at the plate now.
Brown is a hard-throwing righty. I was watching some of his video footage during his time in South Florida, getting up to the mid-90s. He is a big man out on that mound, and much like some of these other youngsters the Leafs have brought on, Drew Howard, Josh Berenbaum, they expect him to play a major role this season.
The 0-1, runner going. Mara's throw down, not in time. Oh, it was close. Rando Moreno is holding up the baseball. He thinks he got him. Justin Mara, he's just the best at throwing the ball down to second base or third base in the Inter-County Baseball League, but it will go down as a stolen base for Dominguez. To piggyback off your point about Brown being a big guy, that's absolutely true. 6'4", 242 pounds out there on the mound for the Maple Leafs. The 1-1, fouled off by Duncan. Maple Leafs management staff think that Brown can be a really key piece to the Maple Leafs this season, and we will kind of get our first look at him in an extended outing. He only went 2 innings against the Brantford Red Sox, and it was in a rather low leverage situation with the Maple Leafs winning that game 15-2. Check swing by Duncan. The appeal down to third base took a long time to get the get the decision there, but the decision is no swing.
I don't know about you. I didn't think that was close.
I don't know.
We don't have replay down the lines or anything, but from up here, it looked like
don't?
he well broke the plant. Thanks, Thomas.
Strike 3 called on the inner half. Matt Brown records the strikeout against Duncan, and that's a big out here in the 5th. He's got a big smile on his face out there for the Maple Leafs as well. I think he might have crossed up Justin Mara, and it worked out. Think that was what happened?
I think so. I mean, you saw the umpire there wave his hands, no mound visit.
Yeah, Justin Mara, David said, this is for safety.
When are we getting those cameras down the line? When can I have video replay to back up when I think someone swung a bat?
Friday.
Oh.
Just kidding, obviously.
I can dream. I can dream.
Well, Matt Brown looked sharp there on that strikeout. Now he faces Luis Bernardo. Still that runner in scoring position. Brown would love another strikeout here against Bernardo. That runner's going. That's Dominguez. This one's popped up towards first base. Castaldo going over. This is going to be a tough play, and I think it dropped. Yeah, that ball dropped in the Hamilton Cardinal bullpen. He went into a sea of Hamilton Cardinal jerseys. It was hard to say what happened there, but Bernardo's going to get another life.
Not a bad outcome. Dominguez got such a good jump from second base there. Mara, no matter how good a throw he has, was not going to throw him out. He had that bag stolen. So a little bit of a hit and run play on for the Hamilton Cardinals, trying to get some offense cooking. There he goes again.
The 0-2 inside. Did that hit him? Yeah, it did.
And Dominguez has to go back to second base again.
Yeah, but that one not a bad outcome for the Hamilton Cardinals. They're going to get a runner on first base, assuming Luis Bernard is okay. That one caught him right on the hand. That's an important piece of the lineup for the Hamilton Cardinals. Their catcher, Luis Bernardo.
I'm only laughing because as soon as Dominguez realized that the ball had hit Bernardo, he squatted down at third base as if to exemplify, man, I had 2 stolen bases on 2 pitches, and I'm not going to get credit for any of them now.
Well, this
He
guy
can't go again. He
This-
can't.
This guy got hit in his last at-bat as well, John Salazzo. Before that, a home run to make it 1-0 Hamilton in his first at-bat back at Christie pitch.
It's very important for Brown to find a way to work out of this, to have a shutdown inning after you've put up 2 against Owen Boone.
Salazzo another big rip at that one and fouls it down the line. John Salazzo did his patented conductor celebration, looked right at the Bushman down the left field line as he came around third base. And where we usually see the Bushmen going crazy and doing the choo-choo, this time they were booing John Salazzo.
Yeah, you've seen it with Salazzo, you've seen it with Takamatsu, seen it with Garten. A lot of these power hitters that have good relationships with the Leaf fans here at Christie Pitts.
2-1 up and away from Brown. Now the count's 3-1. It's a dangerous spot for the Maple Leafs with John Salazzo in a hitter's count and 2 on base.
And it's one of those positions, you have a base open, it's not first base, but you have a righty on deck with a lot less power than Salazzo.
Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Brown on the outer half. He went off speed. Had to make a perfect pitch and did. Now can he do it again? 3-2 on John Salazzo. Taking his time in the batter's box, now steps in. Sign from Justin Mara. The 3-2 pitch. Runners go. Throw down to third base. High and into the outfield. This is going to cash in a run for the Hamilton Cardinals. Also move a runner up to third base. Score now 5-2 Hamilton. And John Salazzo heads down to first base with the walk.
Yeah, not a great play there all the way around.
I think that ball just slipped out of the hand of Justin Mara. Very rarely do you see him airmail a throw. A lot of the time you see him one-hop it in there, or it's just perfectly right on the runner's foot. That time I think the ball just slipped out of the hand of the catcher Mara.
And in a case like that, you're only throwing that because you think there's a fair chance that the ump's going to call that a strike. Because, of course, if it's ball 4, well, there's no reason to throw it. The bases will be loaded. So Mara thinking that there was a chance that might be strike 3, just airmailed it. Now Brown losing his command once again.
Yeah, that's a good point. That might have been in his head a little bit, too, when he threw that ball down. Maybe he was kind of had that in the back of his mind. If you're wondering, too, Justin Mara throwing from his knees, that's a normal thing for Justin Mara. He always throws the ball from his knees. He's great at doing it. Brown pitching to Brown here. Matt Brown on the mound. Jaden Brown at the plate. The 3-0 pitch right down the middle for a strike, and it's 3-1.
And this is a prime example of an inning that you really have to limit the damage. You had that high in the bottom half of the 4th when you scored a couple runs.
High chopper to second. Gloved and whipped over to first by Dan Mara. What a play. That will cash in another run for Hamilton, and it's 6-2.
Similar to Rando Moreno's play up the middle a couple innings ago, Mara had one shot at that, and that was to backhand and throw to first base. The ball was leading him towards second. For a split second, you might have thought, well, it's leading him up the middle. There's a man on first if we can turn this, but it was just too weakly hit. A good sidearm toss from Mara to get the out. The downside, of course, is that a run scores, and that 2-run bottom half of the 4th is all for naught. You've given Hamilton the lead right back, 4-run lead, I should say, right back.
So the mound visit there by Rob Butler. Giving a few words of wisdom to Matt Brown, hoping he can get out of this inning. Still a 4-run game. The Maple Leafs still in this one, but once again, got to get out of this here. It's Yolki Pena at the plate. The leadoff hitter, who's 1 for 3 today, hitting .275 on the season. Yolki Pena hails out of Montreal, Quebec. 25-year-old, the Hamilton Cardinals. Here's the 2-0. That one's inside, and Matt Brown has fallen behind another Hamilton Cardinal hitter. He's battled back in this situation before, but it's cost him in the end. This one's outside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to the leadoff hitter, Pena.
And it's something that you've seen a little bit of if you look at his college stats down in the States. He will lose the strike zone at times. It's a common theme we've talked about quite a bit with a number of these Maple Leafs players over the last couple of years when they come up here. It's hard throwers, not necessarily finding the strike zone 100% of the time, but the stuff is there. Similar to Taylor Lepard, the stuff is there. It's just, in Lepard's case, keeping the ball in the yard, in Brown's case, keeping the ball over the plate.
The 0-1 pitch misses low, 1-1. Kakatos had a check swing on it, but didn't go around. Kakatos has had a good day at the plate. He's 2 for 3. Batting average up to .341 on the year as Brown, working quickly, delivers up and in, 2-1. 2 on base here for Hamilton. A chance to blow it open, and for the Maple Leafs, a chance to stay in it. The 2-1 pitch. Kakatos lines this one towards center. A looping line drive that gets down for a base hit. Runner coming to the plate. Throw comes into third, right on the money, and they got him. Now, did the run come across the plate first?
It did.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so that's going to score another run for Hamilton, but the Maple Leafs get out of the inning. Score now 7-2 Hamilton Cardinals as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Another trio of runs for the Hamilton Cardinals in the 5th, and the Maple Leafs need to respond. Trailing by 5, 7-2 the score. Connor Lewis is going to lead things off. Maple Leafs have 4 hits on the day against Owen Boone, who's been quite good. Lewis scoring a bunt, takes outside, ball 1.
This is a little bit of a situation similar to that of which the Leafs faced many times early on in the season, where their offense would bail out some underwhelming pitching. They'd score a ton of runs, and they'd come away with a double-digit win. If they want that to happen here tonight, they will have to get the bats going consistently against Owen Boone, who, for the most part, outside of that last inning, has really shut the door on these Leafs hitters.
The 2-0. Inside 3-0. Connor Lewis needs to get on base here. He's got a good chance to do it. Up 3-0 on the count against Owen Boone. We talked about the importance of this game for the Hamilton Cardinals because it's their chance to get back to 500. Well, the schedule ahead's not easy. Guelph, or they've got Welland, and Barrie coming up in a 3-game stretch. 3 games in 3 days during the week, too. Kind of sucks for them. 1 day off, and then they play Barrie. And 2 against Welland, too.
I was wondering if they would save Owen Boone for one of those Welland matchups. Obviously not. He's going tonight against the Leafs.
The 3-1 now, in there for a strike. Lewis didn't think so. He started heading towards first base, but now he's going to have to get back in the box and face this 3-2 count from Boone. Full count pitch to Lewis. Popped up. Is it going to stay in play? No. It gets a couple feet over the fence and bounces onto the hillside.
And for the Hamilton Cardinals, now that you're using Owen Boone, you're going to ride him as long as he's willing to go, as long as he's effective, as long as you want him in there. Like you said, with 3 tough games upcoming, you do not want to burn out that bullpen right before you face Welland twice.
Lewis, a high chopper, hustling down the line. Nichols throw to first, in time, out number 1. Really high chopper that time from Connor Lewis, and he got out of the box quickly, but Nichol made a good play.
Nichol was quick enough to get that ball on that big hop. If that had short hopped him, if it hit the grass right on that lip right in front of him before he picked that, Lewis would be safe at first. A heck of a play and a good throw from Nichol, who we've seen make a couple really good plays so far this game. Out at short.
Dos Santos takes ball 1. He's 0 for 1 today, and he's walked. All right, Dos Santos worked a walk in his last at-bat. The 1-0 fouled off. Dos Santos had a pretty good cut at that one. Well, Ryan Dos Santos hitting just .210 on the season, but that's not really the story. His on-base percentage, .442 coming into tonight.
Doesn't matter how you get on base, it just matters that you get there.
The 1-1, Dos Santos thinking about bunting.
Oh, no. No.
That's what Ryan Dos Santos is saying as the umpire says that he went around on that bunt attempt. Looked
Yeah,
like
that
he
was just
pulled
my best imitation of Ryan.
Yeah, looked like he pulled the bat back.
Oh, that wasn't close.
Well, Ryan Dos Santos now is going to have to take a deep breath because now he's behind in the count 1-2 here. Tough spot against Owen Boone. Here's the pitch. Dos Santos takes upstairs, and the count now 2-2. You know, I was thinking when he squared to bunt, that was exactly what kick-started the Maple Leafs for their first run of the game. A couple weeks ago against Hamilton, he got a bunt down, and it was a great play. Now he takes it outside. This works too if he can find his way on base. 3-2 the count. Dos Santos has found himself in this situation before in this game.
Yeah, with how far John Salazzo is playing back at third base with the speed of Dos Santos, it's a lot of space out there.
3-2 pitch low. So Dos Santos will get on first base anyway, even after he disputed the call at home plate. And the Maple Leafs have a runner on with 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. This would be a good time for a John Javier hit, wouldn't it?
It would be, and he's had a lot of those so far this year. Although Castaldo and a few others, I believe, have overtaken him and the race for the highest batting average in the IBL heading into today.
Hits this one to third, and that one gets under the glove of John Salazzo. It may or may not be scored as a base hit. The Maple Leafs, though, don't care. They've got 2 on here in the bottom of the 5th.
And right on cue, Javier rips it through the left side. This is something that we've seen quite a bit of, pulling that baseball into left field.
It is scored a base hit for John Javier.
That ball was pieced, yeah. It went under Salazzo's glove, but with the way third base is at this ballpark and with the speed at which that exited Javier's bat, that's the right decision, I think.
Well, to describe how well John Javier started the season, he's now got a 5-game hitting streak, and each of those 5 games, his batting average has dropped a little bit. Even with the 5-game hitting streak. Although with that hit, he's got his batting average back up to 400 even.
A measly 400 compared to where he was sitting a week and a half ago. No, he's been so much fun to watch, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, what a young talent the Maple Leafs found in John Javier.
Without him, this offense isn't nearly as good as it's been. He's been a kickstarter. He's had some power. Sprays the ball all over the ballpark. Doesn't walk, but admittedly he doesn't need to with who's around him.
Jordan Castaldo at the plate now, and he fouls it off. Jordan Castaldo's eyes lit up at that first pitch from Owen Boone, and he just missed it. Castaldo hitting .415 on the season, 0 for 2 today with a strikeout. Jordan's driven in 14 runs this year in the IBL. Here's the 0-1 from Boone, inside.
And with that, Cardinals righty Stephen Hospital begins to throw down that right field line, and Hamilton's bullpen. I've always wondered, do you know, am I pronouncing his last name Hospital? I've wondered that for a couple seasons now.
The 1-1 pitch just missed on Jordan Castaldo.
It's one of the best names in the IBL right there, I think. Stephen Hospital.
Yeah. It's a good one. Castaldo with a hitter's count. 2-1. And he takes a strike. Now Jordan Castaldo disputing the call at home plate. First it was Boone, now Castaldo. Either way, count 2-2. And the Maple Leafs need a big hit from their best hitter right now, and Jordan Castaldo.
There's nobody you want at the plate more than Jordan Castaldo right now. To your point, with the way he's been swinging the bat.
Here's the 2-2. Fouled off. Castaldo continues to battle.
Might be a win in and of itself for the Maple Leafs if you can knock Boone out after just 5 innings with the way he's been pitching lately. Turn it over to that bullpen, which has also been pretty good as of late for the Cardinals. But just anybody but Boone might do the Leafs some favors.
Castaldo trying to win the battle, and it will be Owen Boone who gets the better of that one. The unbelievable thing is for Jordan Castaldo, that's just his 2nd strikeout in the last 5 games. That's the caliber of hitter that Owen Boone just struck out. And we talked about the Maple Leafs don't want anyone other than Castaldo at the plate. Well, maybe this guy, Marcus Connect.
It's pretty good guy to have right after in the lineup. That's what I mean. The middle of the Leafs lineup this year has been so excellent. Everybody's been hitting. Rando Moreno on deck. Justin Marr we've seen. John Javier can flip-flop spots in the lineup. There's a lot of depth.
Connect drills this one to left, and it's down, and it goes to the wall. This will score 1 run for the Maple Leafs. Marcus Connect will get into second with a double. To third base goes the runner, so there's 2 on with 2 outs for the Leafs, and it's 7-3.
Great piece of hitting there from Connect. How many times have we seen that this season? He gets those hands in, drops the barrel, and laces it down the left field line with his speed is easily into second base. He's had a good ball game thus far, and another RBI makes it 7-3. Gorgeous piece of hitting. Just got on top of it ever so slightly. A couple degrees lower, that ball is flying out of here.
Here comes Moreno, and he hits this one in the air to center field. Pretty deep, back to the wall, and with his back up against the wall, Tyler Duncan makes the catch in center. That would have been a swing that changed the outlook of this ball game, but it goes the way of the Hamilton Cardinals. The Maple Leafs, they get one. They trail 7-3 to Hamilton. New pitcher into the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Ayami Sato on the mound. The 6-time World Cup champion with Team Japan and now a member of the Intercounty Baseball League Toronto Maple Leafs. Sato last pitched against the Brantford Red Sox over the weekend. Her first pitch in there for a strike. So I've learned that Ayami Sato actually has 5 pitches in her arsenal. 2 fastballs, 3 breaking balls. Here's the 0-1. This one's popped up over near first base. Castaldo can't see it, and it's out of play. Here's the 0-2 to Nickel. High fly ball, left field. Lewis going back at the wall, and it's gone. Brandon Nickel has hit another home run. And the Hamilton Cardinals go up 8-3.
The Maple Leafs score, the Cardinals come right back. They've done that twice in the last 2 innings, and unfortunately, this is something that we've seen a little bit of as of late, the ability, or inability, I should say, to keep the ball in the ballpark. The Leafs as a whole, today, the 3rd home run for the Hamilton Cardinals, but particularly off of Ayami Sato.
So now Josh Williams at the plate. First pitch, fouled off. That was the curveball from Sato, and I think that's her best pitch. It's got unbelievable spin rate on its way to the plate. Also features a slider, a changeup, a cutter, and a fastball as well. The 0-1 to Williams. Williams hits one on the ground to first, gobbled up by Jordan Castaldo. He'll step on the bag, and that's out number 1. One of the things with Ayami Sato that I've been so impressed at is whether she's had a good outing or a bad outing out there on the mound, she's always been an unbelievable team player on this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Even whether she's in the game or not in the game too, she's always out there cheering her teammates on, communicating with her infielders all the time. And that's something that's really impressed me about Ayami Sato to start this season. A flare to center field. Coming in is Spencer McInnes, and he slides and makes the catch. Good play by Spencer McInnes. Also, welcome to the ball game, Spencer McInnes, who's taken over for Kaleo Shaw out there in center, and now there's 2 away.
Heck of a play he has to make. As soon as he enters the ball game. And when Sato's at her best, it's when that curveball is really rotating out there. And we've now seen 2 outs, weak contact to roll over to first base, and a shallow pop up to center field. A great play by Spencer McInnes. When she's at her best, she's inducing weak contact, I should say, off of that breaking ball.
This is some hard contact out to left field, and that one's going to leave the yard as well. Dominguez goes opposite field, and it's 9-3. Or Tyler Duncan, I should say, taking that ball out to left field. And that was a big swing. That's his 2nd home run of the season. 9 RBIs for him now on the year, and Hamilton's opened up a 6-run lead.
4th home run of the ball game for the Hamilton Cardinals. It's becoming a little bit of a theme that the Maple Leafs do not like here tonight.
Luis Bernardo, the catcher, comes to the plate. Here's the 1-0. Outside, 2-0.
I didn't have a chance to mention it after that nickel home run, but he has such a sweet swing. It's such a clean swing right through the zone, sits back on a pitch, waits for it to come to him. It's a really gorgeous swing to look at, and obviously the Cardinals are reaping the rewards of his bat and his glove today. He's made a heck of a play, a couple of them at shortstop so far this game for the Cardinals, and now with the bat. The Cardinals are a very fun team to watch. When they are rolling, when their offense is clicking, it's a very exciting team.
The 3-0. In there for a strike, 3-1. The 3-1 to Luis Bernardo. Swing and a miss way out in front of that off-speed pitch from Sato, and she's worked it to 3-2. John Salazzo on deck, hopeful of an at-bat in the inning. Sato's 3-2 pitch. Chopped foul at home plate. That one rolls towards the Maple Leafs dugout. John Javier popped out of the dugout there and fielded that ball like he was ready to throw it over to first base.
You think he might want some action in the field today?
Yeah.
After being forced to DH? Poor him on a boiling hot day here at the pits.
The 3-2, tapped foul once again. Bernardo's staying alive. Luis Bernardo wants to see a fastball or cutter here from Sato, but she refuses to give it to him.
I don't think he'll get one. Based on these last couple swings, I don't think he'll get one.
If he's going to be that far out in front, Sato will continue to pound that curveball. She does not mind throwing that curveball, even in a 3-ball count. Another one, and he was waiting for it. Hits it deep to left. Lewis back at the wall, and it's gone.
Well, I spoke too soon.
10 runs for the Hamilton Cardinals. Luis Bernardo leaves the yard. 3rd home run of the inning, and Hamilton's leading by 7.
Tough night at the ballpark for the Toronto pitching staff.
I wouldn't be surprised if Owen Boone comes back out. Maybe they go to hospital now.
I think they go to hospital with the lead that they have.
Either way, this is good for Hamilton because we mentioned the 3-3 stretch that they have here, starting with Toronto and finishing with 2 games against Welland, and then they just have 1 day off before they play Barrie. First pitch to John Salazzo in there for strike 1. If you can avoid using some high leverage relievers here, if you're Hamilton in your first game of the 3-3 and win your first game of the 3-3, that's big. The 0-1. Salazzo takes up and away.
Is there a certain high leverage reliever down there that you're talking about?
Fernando Rodney, yeah.
Maybe, just maybe.
If you can avoid using him, that would be good. The 1-1.
Although I know some fans here at the pits tonight who would love to see Fernando Rodney pitch. Score aside, he's a draw. He's an exciting part of this Hamilton Cardinals team. He's helped out a lot with their fan base and the media surrounding him. And rightfully so. He's come in and he's done very well over the last 5 outings or so.
Sato trying to get out of the top of the 6th inning. 2-2 now on John Salazzo, former Leaf. Low and away. Ball 3.
What I was going to say, much like Sato, drawing a lot of international media attention north and south of the border.
The 3-2. Salazzo takes low, ball 4, so he reaches base again, and the inning continues. So Rob Butler's going to come to the mound, and I think, yeah, that's going to be the end of the day for Ayami Sato. New pitcher coming into the game. We'll have that for you when we come back. New pitcher of the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Eugene Lee. And he's going to face Brown, the second baseman for the Hamilton Cardinals. Salazzo, the runner at first base. First pitch from Lee, misses low and away, ball one.
It's the first time in a little while that we've seen Eugene Lee pitch for the Maple Leafs. Hasn't pitched all that much, just his third outing of the year.
Lee looked good in his first outing against Kitchener, then got hit a little bit in a game against Barrie, so looking for a little bit of redemption here against the Hamilton Cardinals. 1-1 now on Brown. In the dirt for a ball.
We were discussing it a few minutes ago. I know, but I believe it's all but decided that Stephen Hospital is coming into this ball game. He's still throwing down in that right field pen. Boone has taken a seat. A job well done for Mr. Boone today at the pits.
2-1. This one's hit in the air to center field, but there's room out there for Spencer McInnes, who makes the catch. Good job by Eugene Lee to come in and get out of it for the Maple Leafs. Hamilton, though, scores another 3 spot. They've done that 3 times. This time they do it in the 6th. It's 10-3 Hamilton Cardinals over Toronto.
Get
New pitcher for the Hamilton Cardinals is Stephen Hospital. Comes into the game, an Oakville, Ontario native. Stands at 6'5" on the mound. A lot of length out there for Hamilton. Pitched well against the Maple Leafs last time he faced them. Justin Mara will lead things off. First pitch in the dirt, goes to the backstop.
You had mentioned it at the time in the bottom of the 5th when Rando Moreno came up just short in that fly ball to deep center field. Had that gone over a couple feet further, it would have made it a 7-6 ball game and entirely changed the complexion of this one. Fortunately, makes the catch at the wall. And the doors have come off the barn a little bit here for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, Stephen Hospital has been money out of the bullpen for Hamilton. Hasn't allowed a run or an earned run this year. 13 strikeouts over 8 2/3, pretty good as well. Mara hits something hard on the ground, and that one's gonna get through. Brown just couldn't handle it out there at second base, and Justin Mara is aboard.
Tough hop that just scoots right under the glove of Jaden Brown. The Maple Leafs will take it. The leadoff man on. We've seen it a couple times now. And if you're Toronto, the score is what it is, but you really want to build off the last couple innings that you've faced Owen Boone. He's no longer on the mound. There's a new guy out there. Sure, Hospital's been great, but anybody other than Owen's got to be a sight for sore eyes, and having the leadoff man on is a good start.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs actually did as well as anybody against Owen Boone to get him for 3 runs, but not enough in this one. Hamilton putting up 3 runs 3 times in 3 different innings. Dan Mara at the plate. The 0-1 in the dirt again. That's going to move Justin Mara up to second base.
A couple pitches into this outing so far, but we've seen 2 pretty wild misses from Stephen Hospital. The first pitch since he entered the game, way inside to Justin Mara, and now that one spiked all the way to the backstop, facing his brother Dan.
Yeah, that's a flicker of hope if you're a Maple Leafs fan. There's the 1-1. Right back in the zone, and that's strike 2. Spencer McInnes, who came into the game as a defensive replacement for Kaleo Shaw, is on deck. He'll get an at-bat this inning.
Another lefty bat in the lineup. There's been quite a few of them for the Maple Leafs.
The 1-2 to Mara. Upstairs. 2-2. Dan Mara's got that batting average up to .341 this season. Sometimes you would say Dan Mara's done it quietly, although this year he's actually been rather loud at the plate. A couple big home runs this year. The 2-2. Flare to center. Brown was there to make the catch. That one just needed a little bit more legs to get over the head of Jaden Brown at second base. And here comes Spencer McInnes.
Only played half an inning, but has already had some excitement out in center field, making that sliding catch right after he entered the ball game, and then another one to end the inning. Now looking to do some damage with the bat. There's 2 home runs on the year as a junior call up for the Maple Leafs.
McInnes fouls it back. Good cut at that one.
It's right on that ball. Fouled it directly back into the fence, but he was on that pitch. I should say both his home runs coming in the same game for Toronto a couple weeks ago.
Spencer McInnes has been really good as a junior, well, as any player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's just been effective, but unfortunately for Spencer McInnes, there is so much competition out there in the outfield for the Maple Leafs. With Kaleo Shaw playing really well, McInnes playing really well, Dennis DeBanding out there, and Connor Lewis, there's a lot of competition for one of those outfield spots.
There's a lot of chatter coming out of the Maple Leafs dugout there. That ball being called a strike on Spencer McInnes, a very late strike call.
Well, he's got a battle now. Behind in the count, 0-2. And he hits this one to center. It's gonna be caught in center field. A nice running catch by Tyler Duncan, and that's out number 2. It's gonna bring Connor Lewis, the left fielder today for the Maple Leafs, to the plate. If he can get on, it's back to the top of the lineup with Dos Santos, Javier, and Castaldo, but there are 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Maple Leafs starting to run out of outs here against Hamilton. First pitch to Lewis. Checks his swing. No swing, says the umpire at first base, so that's ball 1. Connor Lewis, a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs since 2015. Speaking of junior players, he was one of those junior players back in the day.
That's a balk. Sorry to interrupt you, partner, but I don't see too many of those.
Won't matter much, though, for the Hamilton Cardinals. The runner in scoring position moves up 90 feet.
It matters to me.
Yeah.
I love seeing a good balk.
Well,
Hospital's just wondering what.
you know what? It
did
matters
to
to
get that
Hospital
call.
too.
It does. Yes.
He didn't like that call. In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter very much. They got to be focused on getting Connor Lewis out, but Hospital just didn't think it was a balk, and he's pleading his case.
He also, to your point, has not allowed a run this year yet.
Right. I don't know how much that's on his mind. Maybe a little bit. The 0-1. Chopper to Nickel. Gloves it. Throws to first in time. He's continuing to not allow a run in the Inter-County Baseball League in 2025. That's Stephen Hospital. A 10-3 lead for the Hamilton Cardinals as we head to the 7th. Well, Eugene Lee did a great job to get the Maple Leafs out of the 6th. Now he'll start things off in the 7th on the mound. First pitch to the leadoff hitter. This will be a tough test here for Eugene Lee, but we talked a little bit about the competition in the outfield for the Maple Leafs. Well, this is a good chance for Eugene Lee to show something on the mound and earn himself some more innings as a member of the Maple Leafs. This one slashed down the line. That's a fair ball. That one's going to roll to the corner. Yoki Pena rounding first. He's headed for second, and he's in there with a stand-up double. Doesn't get easier as Nico Kakatos comes to the plate, the Toronto, Ontario native. Kakatos has had a great day, 3 for 4, batting average up to 357 on the season.
He's had a heck of a season, heck of a day, heck of a year. He's been very consistent for them offensively.
Yeah.
Up until this point.
A big reason why the Hamilton Cardinals, with a win today, can get back to 500. They've needed somebody in the lineup that really struggled to start the year to keep them above the water, and Kakatos has done that. The 1-0 from Lee in the dirt.
That was a heck of a pick by Justin Mara. He didn't go into his blocking position. He picked that all in one stride.
Pure talent. The 2-0. That one misses as well. 3-0 now.
Adam Mara begins to throw down the left field line for the Maple Leafs.
3-0 pitch finds the zone. 3-1.
Another arm down in the pen who hasn't seen a ton of action this year, especially as of late. Looking for him to get some work in today.
This one chopped to third, played by Dos Santos, but in foul territory. Well, we haven't talked much about Ryan Dos Santos playing third base. That kind of helps out the outfield position a little bit for the Maple Leafs if he can play some third base. And he's done a good job. He hasn't played there very much so far this season, but he was an infielder playing college baseball, so this isn't something that's foreign to him. He became an outfielder when he came to the Toronto Maple Leafs. That one's outside, ball 4. Ever since John Salazzo left the Maple Leafs, they haven't really had a guy at third base that has taken the reins yet. And, well, this is Dos Santos' chance to do that, although all he has to prove is defensively. They want him in the lineup no matter what. Just a matter of whether he can fill that tough defensive position at third base.
Yeah, it's been third base by committee for the most part. Spencer Ross has seen some time. Dan Mara has seen a couple innings over at third base. John Javier, Ryan Dos Santos. We talked about the flexibility with the Maple Leafs catchers. Well, there's flexibility all throughout this infield and outfield. Justin Mara can play some first when he needs a break from behind the plate, as that one's popped up.
Over goes Dan Mara. And he makes the catch, one away. This Ryan Dos Santos playing third base is not a new thing, too. This was talked about a little bit last season. I thought there was a chance that he would actually be an infielder last season with the Maple Leafs. Never ended up happening, but now he's had to bust out the infield glove for Toronto. Josh Williams at the plate now. With 2 on base. Pitch to Williams, he takes a strike. Williams is 0 for 3 today, but he has walked and scored. The 0-1, swing and a miss. 2 good pitches from Eugene Lee to get ahead in the count. Lee looking for the punch out. The 0-2, fouled off. Williams got a pretty good piece of that baseball. He was just laid on it.
A lot of power throughout this Hamilton lineup. Williams just one piece of that.
The 0-2, fouled off once again. Eugene Lee shook off Justin Mara a couple times before picking that breaking ball, and he executed it pretty well. Another 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him. 2 away.
Blew that fastball right by Williams. That's the stuff that Eugene Lee possesses. He has a very hard fastball, and he can blow it by some serious hitters. Jacob Gadjic, I believe, begins to throw down the right field line for the Hamilton Cardinals, so perhaps only 1 inning for Stephen Hospital tonight. He just did it again.
Yeah, he's pretty good back there. I think maybe if the situation were different in the game, maybe he's getting down to block that ball, but Justin Mara knows he can pick that. The 0-1 finds the zone 1-1. I think it gives your pitcher a little bit more confidence too when you don't go down and look like you're trying really hard to block a ball. You just pick it up. Yeah, you're good. Throw it back. Veteran move by Justin.
Absolutely. There is no better catcher, I would argue, defensively in the IBL than Justin Mara.
A lot of that comes from, a lot of what we see is Justin Mara throwing out runners, but I think if you talk to a lot of the pitchers on the Toronto Maple Leafs, they like having him behind the plate as well, just from a game calling perspective. And sometimes just, you know, being good at framing the baseball and giving encouragement to your pitcher, that goes a long way. And Justin Mara's got that. The 1-2. Picked it in the dirt.
I don't know that I've seen this before as much as I've seen tonight. To your point, though, yes, it goes back to building confidence as a pitcher, right? Having a catcher behind the plate that you trust, that you know has been around the block.
The 2-2. Just missed. Eugene Lee wanted that one, but I mean, maybe we're beating this a little too hard, but once again, Justin Mara knows that Eugene's feeling pretty good about that breaking ball, so he calls it, and that's exactly what Eugene had on his mind.
As he should at this point in the game, as he should.
The 3-2. Fouled off. Lee in a heck of a battle here with Carlos Dominguez. Another 3-2 pitch. And it's hit on the ground through the middle into center field. A run will come in to score for the Hamilton Cardinals, and that makes it 11-3.
A seeing eye ground ball single up the middle. Too far out of the reach for Rando Moreno to even have a chance at making a play on it.
Tip of the hat to Carlos Dominguez. That was a long at-bat. He earned that one. Gets an RBI as well. First hit of the day for Dominguez. Now Tyler Duncan, who hit a booming home run to opposite field in his last at-bat. The 0-1 from Lee. Duncan takes low. Well, one of these games was bound to happen for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but best to do it after you've had a little bit of a win streak, so it doesn't hurt the record and the win percentage too much. That's the case for the Maple Leafs today. Duncan checks his swing.
And it's just a matter of fact, you didn't have the same arms available tonight that you've had these other games. You don't have Alvarado or Berenbaum or Howard or Florentino, any of these guys available tonight. It's a working man's league, this IBL is.
Now the win streak for the Maple Leafs started back on June 15th against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. Since then, they rattled off 4 in a row. Now Duncan will take a walk on 5 pitches, and that will load the bases for Hamilton.
Catcher number 14, Luis Bernardo.
It's a tough spot for Eugene Lee to find himself in, but it's a good opportunity of experience to try and work his way out of it as best as he can.
Yeah, and the pitch count is getting up there. There's probably some fatigue setting in just because he's throwing so many pitches in this inning, but the Maple Leafs need Eugene Lee right now. They need him to get out of the top of the 7th inning. See if he can do it here against Luis Bernardo. The 1-0 is low, 2-0. Hamilton Cardinals with a run in the inning have opened up the lead to 11-3 here, top 7. Bases loaded spot for Hamilton. A lot of RBIs sitting out there on the base path for Luis Bernardo if he can take them. I tried.
That was
big
a big
cut.
swing. I imagine this is the last batter one way or another for Eugene Lee. Salazzo on deck, the power hitting lefty. Mara, lefty down in the pen. He's been throwing for quite some time. It's gotten hot, it's gotten sticky, it's gotten a little bit out of hand for the Maple Leafs.
The 2-1. Misses outside 3-1. Actually, Adam Mara versus John Salazzo is a matchup that would intrigue me. 2 long-time Maple Leafs that have never faced each other. In fact, I've actually asked John about what would it be like to face Adam Mara. He said, I don't think I would like it. Check swing. And that was a swing by Bernardo. So that bails out the Maple Leafs a little bit there. That would have been a bases-loaded walk. Instead, the count 3-2.
Bernardo's had a good game back, his first since rejoining the club as an active player.
The 3-2 chopped foul at home plate and to the backstop. I'll give Lee credit. He's fallen behind some of these hitters, but he has battled. Hard-earned single by Dominguez. Now it's Luis Bernardo who's taking him deep into the count. Another 3-2, and it's fouled off again. Huh. That ball is trapped on top of the press box in a fenced-off area. I don't think I've ever seen a ball make it through the crack between the top of the press box and the scoreboard. Crazy.
Shot the gap, yeah.
Another 3-2 from
I
Lee.
back you up on that. I didn't see it.
Outside, ball 4, so that's going to push across another run. 12-3 Hamilton Cardinals here in the top of the 7th. And we'll see if Lee gets another batter here. Yeah, looks like he's going to get another batter. John Salazzo comes to the plate. So Rob Butler might just be thinking this is Eugene Lee's inning to finish. This game has got pretty much out of hand here for the Maple Leafs, so they just need some bullpen arms to nurse this game to the finish line and regroup for Friday against the Guelph Royals. That's who the Maple Leafs are going to play. The big moment for John Salazzo, the home run to make it 1-0. That
It set the tone early on, I think. Especially looking back at it, there were a couple key moments early on in this ball game. That was far and away the biggest, I would say at least.
the 1-0, Salazzo rips it foul over the heads of his old buddies down the left field line, the Bushmen.
There's been a number of hard hit foul balls this game, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Just ripping it down the right and left field lines, ripping it over the fence.
The 0-2. Low and just outside. Close pitch from Lee, but it's 1-2. I think John Salazzo goes and visits the Bushmen, has a beer down the line after the game.
I think that's entirely dependent of how quickly the Hamilton Cardinals bus leaves.
The 1-2, just outside. And Eugene Lee on those last two pitches kind of gave it a look. He made a good pitch and might be thinking the home plate umpire squeezing him a little bit here at the top of the 7th. See if he can make another good one. The 2-2. Salazzo hits it in the air. This one's to left. Is it going to stay fair? No. And it hooks out of play as well.
Yeah, Scott Cameron's had a pretty wide strike zone all afternoon into the evening, and I'm sure Eugene Lee out there is wondering, man, these aren't missing by much.
This will be pitch number 46 coming up here from Lee.
Well, they need 7 outs. Somebody's going to have to give it to him.
The 2-2. Inside. And the count runs full again. Now you can see Lee's a little bit frustrated on the mound, and I think that's stemming from he wanted the strike 3 call twice earlier in the at-bat. And now he feels like, man, now he's got to bear down and make another pitch. Salazzo at the dish. The count 3-2. Lee trying to get out of this inning. And it's hit in the air. This one towards center field, and that one gets down. It splits the outfielders, goes to the wall. Spencer McInnes picks it up at the warning track. Couple come in to score for Hamilton, and they've extended the lead here in the top of the 7th.
That'll draw the end of the day for Eugene Lee, a tough one. Adam Marr will come into the ball game to face Jaden Brown.
We'll have that when we come back. A 14-3 lead for Hamilton. Adam Mara will come into the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, trying to finish out this top of the 7th inning. The Cardinals have already scored 4, and Mara enters a pretty sticky situation here with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Luis Bernardo is the runner at 3rd base. John Salazzo at 2nd. Jaden Brown at the dish. First batter for Adam Mara. And the pitch in there for a strike.
So some changes on defense for the Maple Leafs. Zach Lamprey takes over for Ryan Dos Santos at 3rd, and Dennis DeBanning replaces Marcus Connect out in right field.
Swing and a miss. Brown way out in front of that Adam Mara off-speed pitch. Well, Adam Mara's come in and he's thrown strikes. He's ahead in the count, 0-2. Strike 3 called. 3 pitches and a strikeout for Adam Mara. And he gets the Maple Leafs out of the inning. So we'll take another quick break and be right back.
Number 11, Zach Lamprey.
Well, back here at Dominico Field, Chris Bowato into the game. Zach Lamprey fouls the first pitch off. Lamprey is coming in, came in as defensive replacement for Ryan Dos Santos, now gets his first at-bat. The 1-1. Lamprey hits this one into the outfield, and that one's down for a base hit. Zach Lamprey starts off the bottom of the 7th inning with a base knock for the Maple Leafs. It's going to bring John Javier to the plate. So Lamprey is in the leadoff spot. Javier, Castaldo, and DeBanning coming up. DeBanning also came in as their defensive replacement. That was for Marcus Connect. The lefty Bowato faces the righty Javier. And John Javier hits this one to center. High, deep, and it's gone. John Javier to dead center field, and the Maple Leafs have 5.
We were wondering, partner, when we'd see some of that power shine once again. He's hit a couple now, and dead center field, the deepest part of the ballpark.
Oh.
A tough first 2 batters for Chris Boato to face, but Javier pieced that ball up.
Yeah, that ball was crushed. Deepest part of the park. And that's a good sign for the Maple Leafs. It may not mean a lot in the end, but it's good to see John Javier hit another home run. He'd been slowing down just a little bit at the plate. He was still getting a hit every game, but wasn't his usual 400 hitting self, and now he's found that power once again.
You know what kind of swing that is? That's an all-star swing right there from John Javier.
Yeah, I think John Javier is going to be an all-star this year in Hamilton.
Oh, he deserves it. He's had such a good season.
The 1-0. Yeah, it's going to be some tough decisions for sure to put on that ballot. But, you know, with that being said, the voting does end on July 7th. There's still a lot of time for players to kind of show something, I think, before that happens. This one's lined right to second base. Jordan Castaldo did not take a step out of the box. He knew he was going to be out as Jaden Brown makes the catch.
Castaldo hasn't had a lot of fun at the plate today. I think that's fair to say. A couple calls haven't gone his way. Then he pieces up a ball there, a line drive right to Jaden Brown at second. Neither Brown nor Castaldo had to move a step.
So that's the first out recorded by Boato, and now this one's lined in the outfield. That's down for a hit. It rolls to the wall. Dennis DeBanning is chugging for second base, and he's in there with a head-first slide. Throw gets away, and Dennis DeBanning has himself a double. Well, Maple Leafs have found a way to get to Chris Boato a little bit here in the inning. Came in with a pretty good ERA, 3.86 in the 7 innings he's pitched this year for Hamilton.
And there you go. Lamprey comes in the game defensively. He knocks a base hit. Dennis DeBanning rips one down the right field line after entering the game in right field for Marcus Connect. He's now at second.
Chris Boato
DeBanning might have hurt himself out there.
Oh. Well, the umpire at second base is kind of smiling, so that makes me think that DeBanning might just be had the wind knocked out of him a little bit. I think
well,
he's
you know
okay.
why he was smiling was because DeBanning and that forgot to take his elbow guard off, so he was signaling for him to take his elbow guard off.
Yeah, he was more worried about catching his breath. Rando Moreno steps in. That pitch gets away, but with the game where it is, Dennis DeBanning will keep it safe. He's still trying to get his breath back out there at second base too. He's kind of hunched over and he'll get it back. Rando at the dish. And he pops this one in the air. Salazzo comes over and drops it. Uh-oh. Rando Moreno hobbling on his way down the first baseline.
That is not something you want to see at all if you're the Maple Leafs. On both sides, DeBanning hands on his knees at third base. Moreno trying to leg that one out, and he did. It was a very tough play. Bounced right off the plate, went sky high.
Well, he's staying in the game. Brian Sewell kind of gave him a look. He said he was okay, I guess, so it's a good sign for the Leafs. Matt Brandt has come into the game now for Toronto.
Another junior call-up, who they're very high on, a catcher, lefty hitter.
He's going to take over for Justin Mara.
He's thrown out some base runners this year. We talked about that a couple games ago. He has a cannon from behind the plate.
Yeah, one of them was one of my favorite moments of the season when he threw out a runner at second base. Ayami Sato was on the mound, and Sato was fired up with Brant all the way back to the dugout. I thought that was just such a cool moment. The 0-2 pitch outside. Two players from such different worlds. Ayami Sato, the veteran world champion with Team Japan in women's baseball, and Matt Brant, the youngster on the side of the Maple Leafs, just getting his career started. Thought that was a really fun moment that they shared.
It was a great moment for sure. Matt Brant pinch hitting here, one of 15 Maple Leafs on the All-Star ballot this season.
The 1-2. Brant fouls it off. This is a really good test for the Maple Leafs to see a good at-bat out of Brant, which he's putting up so far, because this is not an easy lefty v lefty matchup with the veteran Chris Bowato on the mound.
No, it's a perfect opportunity for it. There's not a lot of high stakes right now at this point in the ball game. A veteran who's been around in Chris Bowato made some good pitches.
The 1-2, strike 3 called. He freezes Brant, and that's out number 2. Dan Mara comes to the plate. He'll get his 4th at-bat of the day. He's 1 for 3.
I'd be interested to see if Rando Moreno takes the field in the top half of the 8th. The only reason I think I might be leaning towards the fact that they might keep him in is I don't know if they have anybody else available.
I didn't see Spencer Ross here today.
No, and he's been here almost every game for the Maple Leafs.
This one's hit in the air by Dan Mara, down the left field line. This one's slicing into foul territory, and coming over making a great catch is Yoki Pena. And that's going to end the inning. The Maple Leafs score a couple on a booming home run to center field by John Javier. We head to the 8th here in Toronto.
Now pitching for the left fielder, number 97, Brendan Daly.
So Brendan Daly, who came into the game as a defensive replacement last inning, is going to come into the game. He's at the plate now. I think, yeah, Yeah, this would be for Yolki Pena, the left fielder. Yeah, there we go. And Adam Mara is back on the mound for the Maple Leafs. Needed 3 pitches to get out of the innings. It was a 3-pitch strikeout in a long top of the 7th inning for the Maple Leafs, and they would love if Mara could pound the strike zone here against the Cardinals and get out of another inning. Daly hits this one in the air. High, deep, center field. Does it have enough? Not quite. Catch made out there in center. Boy, it's getting dark out there in center field. Spencer McInnes was the one who came over and made the catch.
This is Groves now pinch hitting.
So Justin Groves will take over for Nico Kakados. Kakados finishes with a great day at the plate. 3 for 4 with an RBI. Now Groves, who's had 5 at-bats this year with the Hamilton Cardinals. It's 1 for 5. Sees himself in a 1-1 count against Adam Mara. But you think about Daly and Groves coming in, getting some at-bats. Not facing a very conventional pitcher in Adam Mara. He's got some nasty stuff, but you're not going to see a lot of pitchers featuring what Adam Mara features in the IBL.
He's coming out. He's throwing strikes. That's all you can ask for at this point in the ball game.
That's his formula for success. Swing and a miss.
Oh,
yep. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Adam Mara gets another strikeout. He's got 2 in the 3 batters he's faced, and he looks good out there on the mound for the Maple Leafs. This looks a little bit more like what we saw from Mara last season, who was really effective. In fact, if I remember correctly, he had a pretty big save out in Hamilton against the Cardinals as well.
He did. I remember that.
That felt like a real momentum booster for the Maple Leafs at the time. Last season had an ERA of 3.48. Mara features a lot of different pitches, but he can throw all of them for strikes. And that's his key to success. He's not really worried about the strikeout so much. He's worried about soft contact. He loves when the batters are in swing mode and he's at the plate. Nickel hits this one in the air, pretty deep, back at the wall, and it's off the top of the wall. Throw into second, not in time. Good play by Rando Moreno just to glove that ball on the short hop. And Nickel continues to smash the baseball here at Christie Pitts. 2 homers and a double.
And that's a perfect example. Last season early on, well, I guess 2 seasons ago at this point, that would have been his 3rd home run of the ball game.
Right.
That went off that top row of paneling in right field, top row of fencing, I should say, in right field. That ball would have been out of here if not for that fence. So that's the first time I think we've seen it really prevent a home run.
Yeah, last year, so now this is the 2nd season with the tall fence out there. That fence was more than doubled in height. And it took away some home runs, but, you know, with that being said, it's still not very far out there in right field. So lots of batters can get it over it, but that ball by Nickel just missed, maybe about 3 feet from the top of the fence. The 1-1 on Williams. And he hits this one on the ground, but no one was playing there on the left side of the infield. Williams to first. That's going to cash in a run as Nickel comes in to score. And it's 15-5 for Hamilton.
We've seen the power the Hamilton Cardinals have possessed this game. We've seen some sharp hit balls through the into the outfield, I should say, through the infield. And we've seen some squibbers like that through the infield that are just perfectly placed up the middle, to the right, to the left of the Leafs infielders. Nickel and diming us for the latter half of this ball game, I should say.
Carlos Dominguez at the plate now. He's 1 for 5 on the day.
As Alex Carabian continues to throw down that left field line in the Maple Leafs bullpen. He will more than likely have the top of the 9th inning. I'm going to double down on that. He will have the top of the 9th inning.
In there for a strike, 2-1. Tyler Duncan, who's also homered today, is on deck. A pitch up and away from Adamara. 3-1 on Dominguez.
See Jonathan Salazzo sitting on those bleachers down the right field line behind the Cardinals dugout, signing some baseballs and a bat. For some Toronto Playgrounds players, the local minor league affiliate, I shouldn't say affiliate, the local minor league team that plays here at Christie Pitts.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Hamilton's got the Hamilton Junior Cardinals.
Was it Dennis DeBanning who said he played here at this field when he was in his younger days playing at Toronto? I'm getting a nod of the head over there.
Yeah, he did play.
I don't know if he played for Toronto Playgrounds, though. That'd be an interesting question.
So Duncan heads down to first base. Or, I guess now it's Duncan at the plate.
I'm sure Duncan would like to head to first base.
Yeah.
He's done it a great deal this game.
I was watching Salazzo sign autographs down the line. Well, okay.
There we go. He's down to first base.
I got the notification. All right.
I should go get him to sign my jersey.
I don't think that would.
No.
I don't think you should do that.
No. Well, yeah. I'm a kid at heart. What can I say?
Bernardo taps this one to first base, and this will get the Maple Leafs out of the inning. Hamilton gets another. They lead 15-5 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th inning here in Toronto. This ball game just past the 3-hour mark as Spencer McInnes comes to the plate. Chris Bovado gave up a home run to John Javier in the last inning. Now he'll finally get a lefty-lefty matchup as McInnes pops this one up. Guess he had Brandt last inning. This is a tough play, and it drops, and McInnes heads for second. Oh, boy. Spencer McInnes just turned on the Jets. He never stopped running, and I don't know what that's going to be scored, but either way, that's a It's a nice hustle play by Spencer McInnes.
I don't think the ball actually touched anyone's glove before it hit the ground. So if you're going by the rule book, I believe technically that's a double. Or a single and an error, allowing him to move to second. Oh, no. No, 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 no,
All right,
no.
they give it an error on the first baseman.
Poor Justin Groves. He doesn't deserve that.
That was a really tough play.
That was an incredibly
also
tough play.
probably not his ball.
Not his ball. No. No, Justin. I'm so sorry, Justin.
That's a tough one.
Speaking of which, as you rightfully pointed out on the break, we're at that point in the ball game. We're trying to figure out who's playing where.
Yeah. Catcher is the position we're looking for right now.
That is not Luis Bernardo
No.
out there. I feel pretty
Wait.
confident in saying that. So the number he's wearing is number 2. The problem with that little idea is that there is no number 2 on the lineup card that we were given.
It's okay.
So we'll see who figures this out first.
Here's the 1-1 to Connor Lewis. And there for a strike 1 and 2. Russell Young probably doing the catching.
Yeah, but this says Russell Young's number 34.
Yeah, but you can take that with a grain of salt.
That is true.
Big cut by Connor Lewis.
That is true.
I don't think it's Russell Young.
I don't.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Just don't have it on the lineup card, unfortunately.
We're just like how the game's been going.
Lewis strikes
We're
out.
trying to pull it together up here.
Second strikeout for Bowato.
Ethan Martin.
Yeah,
This is Ethan Martin.
that's confirmed.
Yeah. Cause he's wearing his Hamilton Junior Cardinals jersey that looks the same.
Oh.
That's what it is. Cause he's a junior. It's all coming together.
And Preya singled in his last at bat. Now behind 0-2. Fights it off. If Chris Bowato could finish out this game, that would be a good thing for the Hamilton Cardinals. As mentioned, their schedule is tough. 3-3 during the week. Not easy. Not even a weekend 3-3. And 2 games against the Welland Jackfish coming up tomorrow and the next. Another 0-2 to Lamprey. In the air, left field, struck well, but hanging up and dropped in the outfield. Lamprey reaches first, throw to third, not in time. And that'll go down as an error on Brendan Daly, who's into the game. And Maple Leafs have some runners on here in the bottom of the 8th.
Designated hitter number 77, John Javier.
He he was trying to put his second of the game out of the yard there. Heck of a swing from John Javier. Looking to do some damage once again off of Chris Bellato. It has gotten humid and it has gotten sticky here at Dominico Field. Much more since the sun went down.
Yeah, the wind has died. The 0-2 to Javier. This one's popped up, and I mean way up there. Brown calls it on the infield, and that's out number 2.
We've also seen some really high fly balls and pop-ups today. The
Yeah,
ball is
it's carrying.
shot that up an elevator shaft, and it finally came down to Jade Brown at second.
So 2 IBL veterans face off now, Bellato and Castaldo. Jordan Castaldo looking for his first hit today. Getting his 5th at-bat. Pitch to Castaldo, low and away.
I believe he has a hit in all but one game so far this year with the Leafs. So he's on the verge of, unless he hits a base knock here, of breaking the spell of very hot hitting that he's been on as of late.
The crazy thing is Chris Bellato knows exactly what he has to do out there. That's throw strikes. Missed that one, but point still stands. He's throwing 32 pitches, 26 strikes. That was just the 6th ball that he just threw to Jordan Castaldo.
It's exactly how you should pitch in a situation like this.
Yeah.
You have such a big lead, runs do not matter. Get the ball over the plate, speeds up the game, bat to ball.
The 1-2 fouled off by Jordan Castaldo. Boy, Chris Bellato barely came set there. He got to the plate really quickly.
You suggesting it was a little bit balky?
I don't know. I'm suggesting that it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah.
There it
Hit
is.
on the ground. There's the base hit for Jordan Castaldo. That cashes in a run as well, so give him an RBI, his 15th of the year, and it's 15-6.
Good piece of hitting. You know Bellato's throwing a lot of strikes. Bat to ball. Puts a good swing on it. Rips it through the hole on the right side.
Batting average back over 400 for Castaldo.
And with that RBI, he moves in a second all-time in the IBL. That ball was just thrown out of place, and Lazo tossed it to the Maple Leafs dugout. We were talking about that earlier on today.
Yeah, so that's 499 RBIs now for Jordan Castaldo. So the next one's going to be a big one as well. So that passes Damon Toppoli for 3rd all-time. Jordan Castaldo stands alone in that category, continuing to break records this year with the Maple Leafs.
They knew it too. As soon as that ball was tossed back in, Salazzo grabbed it, scooped it up, threw it to the Leafs dugout. I know we've said it before, he's having such a year so far for the Maple Leafs.
I mean, over the weekend, basically pulling them into a couple wins. The one in Welland as this one's flared to Brown at second base. A broken bat flare there for Dennis DeBanning. And that is going to end the inning. A milestone RBI for Jordan Castaldo. We're going to say that a couple more times this year as well for Jordan Castaldo. It's a 15-6 lead for Hamilton. So a milestone for Jordan Castaldo, 499 RBIs. His home run against Hamilton, that tied him with Damon Topley for third all-time. The RBI in the last inning means Jordan Castaldo is continuing to climb the leaderboard. At the beginning of this season, he was 5th in RBIs. Now he's 3rd. He's moved up 2 spots. The guy next in line is Kevin Hinton, the former Toronto Maple Leafs, with 517 RBIs. So 18 RBIs away from that. Definitely within reach this season for Castaldo. And then after that, there's a lot of distance. The next guy is Sean Riley, also a former Toronto Maple Leaf, and he's well over 100 more than the next guy in line in Hinton. Well over 300 more than the next guy in line in Hinton. He's got 827. That's a record that will never be broken in the Inter-County Baseball
absolutely not. He has a pretty good chance to catch Kevin Hinton, though. I misspoke last inning, saying he was now in 2nd. He's now in 3rd. Although, I think, like I said, he's right on Kevin Hinton's tail.
Alex Karabian is the new pitcher into the game for the Maple Leafs, and quickly behind in the count to John Salazzo. Salazzo thought that ball might have hit him, but also wants to swing the bat.
I think he might have said, yeah.
He said, all good.
Because I think the home plate umpire is about to award him first base there.
Well, I've also talked to John Salazzo about one of the pitches that he likes to hit. The sinker is a pitch he likes to hit. He doesn't get one in the zone, though, from Alex Karabian, who throws a lot of sinkers out there on the mound for the Maple Leafs.
And for Karabian, much like Eugene Lee, much like a lot of these Maple Leafs pitchers today, hasn't worked a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah,
had a tough time out last outing.
Yeah, that was against the Barrie Bay Cats. Gave up the 5, only got the 1 out. But you know, I mean, if you look before that, when he played the game against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, he was quite good. Looked really good in his 1 inning of work. Gave up a hit, but that was it. So, we'll see if Alex Karabian kind of bounce back here in this outing. First pitch to Brown did go to the backstop, but Salazzo holding his ground at first base with the score the way it is. And then a swing and a miss on a good sinker from Karabian.
Yeah, Castaldo down at first, not even holding on Salazzo. I think there's a mutual understanding at this point in the game.
The 1-1 misses high. Just to summarize the defense for the Maple Leafs, because there's been so much going on. Matt Brandt is the catcher. Lamprey at 3rd. And then the infield stays the same other than that. Moreno, Mara, and Castaldo. Outfield, Connor Lewis, Spencer McInnes, and Dennis DeBanning from left to right.
Vastly different from 3 some odd hours ago. Connect out of the ball game. Ryan Dos Santos out of the ball game. Kaleo Shaw out of the ball game. Justin Mara out of the ball game. Wholesale changes for the Maple Leafs.
Karabian's 3-1. Inside ball 4, so the first 2 reach for the Cardinals. Here in the top of the 9th. Brendan Daly comes in. He'll get his second at-bat after coming to the game in left field. Alex Karabian needs to find the zone here against Hamilton. That one sails up over catcher Matt Brandt.
Just a bit high. Karabian might be the last arm. Nope. Nope, he's not. I see Greg Carrington walking down to the bullpen.
Just as you say that.
Just as I say that, yeah. I've only been a little bit off like 6 times this game. I'll get there one of these days.
The 1-0, and that hits. That hits Daly. And the bases are loaded here for Hamilton. Well, The new first baseman, Groves, is going to get an at-bat here. Brant and Rando Moreno are going to come chat here with Alex Karabian because they would love to get through the rest of this outing without having to use another arm. They have a day off tomorrow, and then they play Guelph on Friday. That'll be a game the Toronto Maple Leafs will want to get a bit of a bounce back here at Christie Pitts.
Two youngsters out there, Matt Brant and Alex Karabian, both junior call-ups.
First baseman number 3, Justin Groves.
Bases loaded in the top of the 9th. Hamilton already with a hefty lead on Toronto. First pitch to Groves. Right down the middle, strike 1.
Good bounce back from the last few pitches. Getting one over the plate there.
The 0-1. Broken bat, soft ground ball. Dan Mara makes a good play out of it, cashes in a run, but an out for the Maple Leafs. That was a good pitch there from Alex Karabian, painted it over the outer half.
Justin Groves is having a rough inning and a half.
Yeah, summarize it.
So firstly, the pop-up behind first base, as soon as he comes in for as a defensive replacement, the ball falls. We up here think probably it didn't touch his glove. It's probably just a tough play and likely not his play to begin with, but he's given the error. And then bases loaded, nobody out in the top of the 9th. A blowout game. Karabian throws over a couple strikes. He breaks his bat on a ground ball to second, which in this league, keeping in mind, these are not super professional players getting paid a lot. Those bats cost money.
Yeah. I remember last season there was John Salazzo was on a great stretch, and he used the same bat, hit a whole bunch of home runs, was just smashing the baseball, and then broke that bat. And I remember that was a very emotional moment for him because he'd done so well with that bat, and it was his lucky bat. And I think he might have gone through a bit of a slump after that when he had to use a new bat. So hopefully that wasn't the lucky one.
Was it
for
Rando
Groves.
Moreno who was using the Ellie De La Cruz bat? Oh, you knew what I was going to say before I even said it. Well, the listeners didn't.
Do you want to know why?
Well, yeah, I do.
Because I have the bat in my living room.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you little thief.
It's
you
broken.
sneaky little
He
devil.
broke it. That's why.
Oh.
That was a nice little gift.
I'm not
from
allowed
Rando.
to get an autograph on a jersey, but you can steal an Ellie De La Cruz bat. I see
steal
how
it.
it
I
is.
didn't steal it.
Oh, that's what they all say.
It was a gift. The 3-1 hit on the ground up the middle for a base hit. That'll cash in another run for Hamilton. And the 9th inning continues.
Nickel again.
I think this is Matt Hildebrandt, if I had to guess. Yeah, this is definitely Matt Hildebrandt. Hildebrandt has appeared in 5 games for the Hamilton Cardinals this season, 8 at-bats. Back in the Intercounty Baseball League again this year, after a couple of years off. Hildebrandt, a big swing.
He was looking to put one to the moon on that swing.
Yeah, Matt Hildebrandt's a good player. He's a good tool that they have on their bench, the Hamilton Cardinals. In a season with the Welland Jackfish back in 2022, hit 6 home runs, hit .331. It was just fantastic. And that pitch way inside, did it hit him? No, I don't think so. It went behind Hildebrandt. But yeah, Matt Hildebrandt has had some really good years in the Intercounty Baseball League, both with the Welland Jackfish. The 1-1. Misses outside. Hildebrand ahead in the count, 2-1. Hails out of Lindsay, Ontario. The 2-1. Outside. Hildebrand, as you can see in the box there, a big guy as well, stands at 6'4" from the left side.
Have you ever been to Lindsay, Ontario?
No.
No, neither have I.
But I heard that a lot of people from around this area would go there to get their driver's test because it's so hard to book your driving test around this area. I don't know if that's also the case in Hamilton, but there's just so many kids that are trying to get their license, so they'll go to Lindsay, Ontario. Now that's.
Oh. Do you think he got his license there?
That's. I don't know.
I don't know either.
The 3-2. Broken bat, ground ball towards first, and it's foul.
Oh, no. Oh, another one bites it.
Well, Hildebrand will get a new piece of lumber.
I guess Lindsay's kind of like cottage country a little bit. Like people have cottages out there. Am I getting that mixed up?
I don't know. I wasn't prepared to have this conversation.
You seem like a cottage guy.
Yeah. I actually got my driver's license in Perry Sound, which is also cottage country.
Yeah,
so.
that's absolutely cottage country.
Yeah. Another 3-2 to Hildebrand. Outside, ball 4. Bases loaded again for the Cardinals.
I like Perry Sound. It's nice.
Yeah?
So, yeah. I've never been to Lindsay, but Perry Sound, oh boy.
I think we're going to get another pitching change. Rob Butler comes out, takes the ball from Alex Karabian, and with 1 out in the 9th inning, new pitcher coming in for the Leafs. New pitcher into the game for the Maple Leafs, Greg Carrington, and he'll face Dominguez. First pitch is a swinging strike. Greg Carrington comes to this outing with an ERA of 7.73 and 2 1/3. The 0-1 to Dominguez, tapped foul towards the Maple Leafs dugout. Greg Carrington came in against the Brantford Red Sox in his last outing and was really good. Went through an inning, gave up just 1 hit, faced 4 batters, struck out 2. This one popped foul, well out of play behind home plate. And Carrington's ahead in the count 0-2. I think that hit a car.
That sounded like it hit something of value, yeah.
The 0-2 pitch. The question was whether he swung, and the first base umpire says Dominguez did not.
I think a couple of the sideline umpires disagree.
Chop towards third, and it gets by Lamprey at third base. This one's down the line. This will score another run for the Hamilton Cardinals. And they've got 18.
Tough hop for Lamprey down at third, though. You could make the case it probably could have been a strikeout on the previous pitch. But nonetheless,
Center fielder number 5, Tyler Duncan.
another good piece of hitting it, ripping it down the line.
This ball game is closing in towards the 4-hour mark.
Oh, don't say things like that to me. That's sad. I mean, I love it. I wish this could go 5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, the ice cream truck left, though, and I was hoping to catch that before it departed, so I'm out of luck there.
Yeah, leaves at 10:30. The 1-0 to Duncan. Tyler Duncan hits this one in the air. This one's playable. It's the third baseman, Lamprey, who makes the catch. And we've got 2 away here in the top of the 9th. Hamilton Cardinals have 18 runs on 18 hits. 1 in the second, 3 in the third, 3 in the fifth, 3 in the sixth, 4 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, and now 3 in the 9th. This one's chopped to Moreno at short. Flips to second in time, and the Maple Leafs get out of the top of the 9th inning. The final frame coming up here in Toronto. Randall Moreno at the dish for the Maple Leafs. Hits one right back to the pitcher, Workington, and that's out number 1. Actually be a guy who'd be nice to see get a base knock.
Absolutely.
Workington's pitch right there, swung through by Matt Brandt. 0-2. The count on Brandt. Now he chops one towards short. This is going to be a tough play. Long throw, and there's a hit for Matt Brandt. First hit in Matt Brandt's Intercounty Baseball League career. Dan Mara at the plate now for the Leafs. Mara 1 for 4 on the day. He's driven in a run. Mara takes number 2. I'll bring Spencer McInnes to the plate.
Center fielder number 22, Spencer McInnes.
McInnes takes strike 1. Spencer McInnes lines this one towards center field, and that's the ball game. The Hamilton Cardinals come away with the decisive victory. They win this one 18-6.
Yeah, it was a tough game overall. The pitching just wasn't there. Coming off a 4-game win streak, you know, one of these were bound to happen. We were talking about that. But Hamilton displayed the power. They displayed the athleticism. And Owen Boone pitched a masterclass of another game against Toronto. And, you know, if you're Toronto, all you can do is look forward to Friday. You face Guelph on Friday and Saturday, a home-and-home series, Friday, Saturday. And, yeah, you know, they really just got to put their best foot forward on Friday, and I think they will. This is not a game that happens all that often between Hamilton and Toronto, and, you know, it feels good. Jonathan Salazzo hitting his first home run back at Dominico Field in his first at-bat, and that really set the tone, I think, for the entire game.
Well, we'll have that game that you mentioned against the Guelph Royals on Friday. It starts at 7:30 here at Christie Pitts. For myself, Thomas West, as well as Gus Cousins. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good night.